You are now entering Maximum Driftcast, the only drifting podcast hosted by a Spanish soccer mom, a 30-year-old silver-haired fox going on 60, and finally, a 200-pound bowl of spaghetti with chimichanga arms.
The champions, we are the champions.
And welcome to Maximum Driftcast, the only drifting podcast that is not a podcast anymore. Are we podcast?
It's a podcast that hasn't podcasted in I don't know how long it's been.
Yeah, well, you can't count the test not a podcast that we did last week because that didn't count. That wasn't a podcast.
That wasn't a podcast.
That was like just seeing what all the equipment is. We're slamming the tables, Paco. This is it. This is the
Corey's
podcast
too excited.
where we slam tables. No, but last week wasn't a podcast. It was basically testing all the stuff that Sam.
It was a good hangout.
Sam purchased for us. Don't forget that.
Yeah. So I mean, if you guys were here last time, you probably remember that we talked about Sam becoming a millionaire.
Yeah.
With basically all the money he made from this podcast. So we begged him. We told him, Sammy, we need to be back. We know you don't need to be back, but we do. Can you buy us equipment?
All his offshore money got wired over. We got a computer.
Yeah.
We got a new computer. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12 cameras set up in the studio.
2 lights.
Big Balls got another microphone.
Yeah.
So Big Balls has a new microphone.
Yo.
Look at there it is. Crystal clear.
I got her implant.
What hair implants?
Yeah, look at that.
With the money left over.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's for the job, It's all tax deductible.
Yep. So Paco got hair plugs. But yes,
you got butt plugs.
I did. It looks like the Infinity Gauntlet back there, just all jewels and gems that I have. But I guess you could say we're back doing podcasts
Corey,
again.
We were never gone. When you think about it.
Yeah. See, I agree with you. Because we have maniacs that hang out on our Facebook group, which we talked about that on not the podcast episode last week, but it's like we have this Facebook group that is like where all the drift nerds hang out, talk keyboard warrior against drivers and about themselves and about competitions, and it's honestly the thing that kept a lot of that drift news and information and memes and everything that is like talked about on drifting is usually happening in the Facebook group, which First of all, I thought Facebook is for old people, and it still is, but I guess that just means all these drifters are getting old.
I mean, we're old people now when you think about it. So
just a bunch of old dudes hanging out looking at cars.
Yeah.
So we're back. We're back. We're going to be trying to do this, twice a month or something?
Twice a month to start.
Twice a month to start.
Because the doctor said we couldn't lift anything heavy.
Yeah.
So we got to try to take it easy. And
so here it is. But we couldn't do this. Obviously, this show coming back and doing this without our sponsors. Obviously, Paco, you've mentioned 2F, right?
Oh, 2F. That's right. 2F Performance sponsoring Maximum Driftcast. It's like basically. I mean, let's not lie. The money was from Driftcast. I mean, the money came from 2F, not from Driftcast. That's not from Sam. No, just kidding.
Thanks to F, yeah. Sam gave us no money. Don't ruin it. We're trying to keep the Sam's image alive.
2F doesn't have that kind of money, so it was definitely Sam.
If you guys want free 2F body kits, just set them up on Instagram, 2F Performance. You can just message Paco and say I need body kits, and he will still give out free body kits to anybody that messages him. So make sure you DM.
Everybody gets sponsored.
Everybody gets free kits.
That's how
He's like the Oprah of the body kit world. Everybody gets free stuff.
You get a body kit. And you get a body kit. You get a body kit.
Another sponsor, Paco. You've used this for a very long time.
Yeah, that's right. Rogaine.
Yep.
Thank you, Rogaine, for sponsoring the show. Like, Corey hasn't used it yet. That's why he's still.
I have used it actually.
You're using it on your chin.
No, I've been using it on my chest.
Oh, nice.
As we talked about last episode, slip and slides.
That's
friction
right.
burns.
Yeah.
Going too fast. You're speeding. You get a little chest hair. It works as some resistance, slows you down a little bit, and makes the slip and slide more enjoyable. I was too afraid to use it on my head. So
I see.
I
Makes
start
sense.
with the parts that are covered, then maybe I'll go up to where I really need it.
Well, good to hear.
Oh, yeah, we're missing a sponsor too.
Oh, what's the next sponsor, Corey?
Steve's Plumbing out of Chandler, Arizona. If
Thank
you
you,
guys
Steve's
like
Plumbing.
a good piping, hit up Steve's Plumbing.
Awesome. Like, dude, like from what I've heard,
Dude, I love it.
The best pipe jobs. Dude, I got so excited. I've been kind of like a little.
It's crazy that he came on board. You know, we're picking up non-endemic sponsors. You know, I think it's important to keep motorsports alive by going after brands that, that are not involved in motorsports. And what better than to get somebody that just knows how to handle the pipe.
That's right. I mean, we gotta thank Steve's Pipe.
Yes. Steve's Pipe and Steve's Plumbing. Thank you guys for piping us down.
Speaking of pipes, he's gonna be tuning the bass flute.
He is.
He's gonna be.
Yeah, he's gonna be working on that thing later. So hopefully he can do it live. But yeah, thanks, Steve.
Yeah, right now it's dangerous. Don't touch it.
Dude, I touched the bass flute. My fingers went rigor mortis, dude.
Wow.
It was like I was ready to play the White Ranger theme song on it. But I'm glad I didn't.
Awesome.
So,
Corey, what do you have in schedule for us?
Oh, my. Dude, I am so rusty at this, Paco. I want to be honest.
Are you like a rusty trombone?
I am. I feel like I am. Getting back in the swing of things is just, it's going to take some time. But I think we kind of remember how to do this. You just talk to people like we would talk to us, like if we were in the shop or.
I always remember that I had to drink and just let the alcohol take me. And so I'm already doing
go
the
on
drinking.
a booze roller coaster.
Yeah, exactly.
By
It's
the
like
end
a
of
booze
this,
cruise.
by the way, for you guys that are just listening, Paco's drinking this giant cup of wine, so his mouth's going to be bright red, just drooling at the end of this thing. He's a wine drinker. I drink wine. I could literally my whole insides go into the toilet.
Apple juice.
I don't drink the wine because that just it's a floodgates that
It's
open.
a floodgates that get open.
Yeah, so you guys are probably asking, where have we been? Well, how come it's been 3 years? Has it been 3 years? Is it 4 years?
It's like almost 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's been 4 years. A lot of stuff has happened over 4 years. I think Paco, you could talk about what has happened over 4 years for yourself. Maybe just give people an idea.
Like just kind of like to obviously we talked about this a little bit on our Not podcast last time, but basically after COVID, we got very 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 busy at 2F. Somehow like people's at home doing nothing and they just like want to build cars. So we started just like sending a lot of kits. That took a lot of time. My job, which I also have a job, a regular 8 to 5 whatever, keeping very very busy. Lots of construction going on, and so I'm a civil engineer at a construction company. I know a lot of people don't know that, but that's been keeping me very 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 busy. And
oh, and you forgot to tell me you're an engineer too. Paco digs holes.
I do.
And he builds buildings, right? You kind of build buildings?
Well, we set the ground for the builders to come and build the building.
I wouldn't trust you digging a hole in my backyard for my dog to shit in. So
well, the good thing is that I'm not the one digging it. It's my
you're
cousin.
the one planning it. You're on the computer
I'm the one
like the
on the computer.
Matrix over there.
Yeah, my cousin comes and shovels the hole, and he does the job. He's good.
See, when I went to Paco's job one time, he had little sunglasses on. He looked like Morpheus from the Matrix digging holes.
Well, I have the
there.
sunglasses right here, Corey. Let me show.
Hold on, let me see the sunglasses. Yeah, Paco looked like a very pale Morpheus over there programming computers on how to dig holes. So Paco's an engineer by trade. So he's doing like 2F stuff and oh, hold on. Is this you got the glasses?
I got the glasses ready.
Oh, I remember those.
You remember
I remember those. Yeah, the bead glasses.
Yeah, these are the.
Yeah, those things are. Do you know what's so funny is every time I step out of your office and I hear him take them off, I just hear.
They smell a little rusty.
Oh, this dude! I don't want pink eye. I'm not smelling that. Jesus. Paco.
I don't even know like what doctor recommended these ones.
Yeah, dude, you could probably see to Mars with those things on, with how big they are.
I don't know, man. I think I can see Uranus.
For you guys that are listening, I want to describe what they look like. They look like anal beads with a strap attached to it.
It's probably because that's what they are, man. I don't think they're glasses, Corey. Maybe you know what? Maybe it wasn't the ophthalmologist.
You know what? Yeah, maybe
it was a proctologist.
You went to the proctologist to get your new glasses.
Damn it!
I would still wear them. I
told him, doctor, I need new glasses, and he was like, "Oh, I know exactly what you want."
He's like, bend over, I'll show you how to put on some glasses, pal.
Say no more.
So Paco's doing his real life stuff.
Corey, what have you been doing?
I've been trying to do real life stuff too.
Wait, hold on.
What?
No, because you do IRL in real life. Because I'm trying to speak like the current generation kids. Okay. IRL is it in real life.
IRL. IRL.
But streaming.
Yeah.
So
I've always been streaming since. So okay. I don't want to get too nerdy.
Now you have to go to the urologist if you have problems against your streaming.
My streaming's off. I go see a doctor for that.
Right.
I've been doing a lot of IRL streaming, a lot of car streaming. I've been doing a lot of stuff on Twitch, kind of nerdy video game stuff, and not outside of that. I'm trying to find a balance of like that and car stuff. Right. Obviously, when COVID happened, like all the events shut down, world collapsed, everything sucked. And then I was like, dude, why don't I just stream from my garage? Or why don't I do this? Why don't I do that? So I found streaming on my own. Obviously, Driftcast played
streaming save your life.
Played a part in that, and then I during that time still I was doing a lot of stuff with Fuel Fest. So I was hosting all the Fuel Fests across the United States. So I've been working with like Cody Walker, Tyrese, and Vin and Randall and all the guys at Fuel Fest, which has been awesome. Yeah. As that kind of gave me my car fixed. Then I've been doing a thing called Burnout Wars, which I just literally on Sunday came back
from Texas,
from
right?
Texas for LS Fest, and then I go to Atlantic City in 2 weeks, and I go to LA next week for Fuel Fest LA. But I've just been doing a lot of hosting stuff. I've been doing a lot of stuff that I've enjoyed doing on the side. I'm building an E46 M3 with an LS in it as a party car, school car. I still have my S14. I have another S14. But dude, it's
G35.
Just, I figured since drifting and the podcast has made us so rich, that I could just take time and do whatever we want. We made hundreds of dollars.
Dude, like 138.
So split that between me, you, and Sam.
Oof.
Cash now, dude.
I'm so bad at math, dude, especially with big numbers like that.
Yeah. So
no idea.
So anyways, I've just been doing that, and now for us, it's like you're at a good spot, I'm at a good spot. Let's do this again. Let's give it another shot. And I think it's a perfect time to come back. If I'm going to be honest, I think drifting is booming again. We obviously said that when we started 6, 7, 8 years ago. It's surging across every country. The motorsports is getting bigger and better.
The professional aspect is also getting big.
And I'll honestly say this, Paco. I think we started podcasting about 6 years too early. If we would, think about then, it's like Instagram was not really doing reels at that time, and Facebook still sucked and was for old people. Yeah. MySpace was probably the best spot to post anything. And
I never got into coding, so I don't know.
Yeah, so you had a whole glitter background, and you had Boys to Men playing as your page music, and just there wasn't no room for drifting on it.
That's right.
But so it's a good time to come back, and I feel like Paco's still involved heavily in the sport. I'm still heavily involved in a couple different aspects, and then we have Sam.
Where is Sam?
We have Sam, which is, I'm sure you guys are wondering.
There's Sam.
Sam is not here.
Corey, we went through this. It's okay. He's not here, but he is with us.
Sam. All right. Let's just tell him why. Paco, just tell him why Sam.
Well, we kind of spilled the beans a little bit on our not so podcast episode where we revealed that he actually moved to South America.
Yeah, he did.
And is it Colombia or Costa Rica? I don't know. I think it's one of those countries down there. And he started a small person wrestling league because he corrected us.
Well, what did we say?
Midgets.
We said midgets. Small people. That's right.
Small people.
God, that's what we get for staying out of the loop, and that's why we have people like Sam. To make
but when
things
he's
better.
not here, we call him midgets because we don't know better.
That's why we need guidance from Sam.
We need Daddy for around.
The other thing Sam has been doing is he's been doing a lot of work for Formula One. I don't know if you guys heard of it. It's a sport that's up and coming. He's actually been doing stuff for a company called Ferrari and Shell and a bunch of other companies that are just kind of like still on the up and up.
Is that like a fancy 240?
It's probably I think it's an S13, S14 type of thing that like a kit car maybe. Like a kit car.
Uh-huh.
Sam is also in the business of scratch and sniffs. What he does is takes the F1 driver's seats, wipes it on a sticker, and then sends it to your house, and you have a scratch and sniff of your favorite F1 car's driver seat. But, things have changed. So Sam is going to be popping in and out intermittently throughout whenever we do a show. So, unfortunately, Sam is not here with us. Wait, is Sam with us?
Well, so, Corey, I wanted to tell you something.
All right.
We have the technology to bring Sam back.
Okay.
There's a way where, using a 3D scan of Sam's face, as well as using technology with an artificial intelligence.
Okay.
We found a way to replicate Sam, and Sam's going to be joining us from the virtual realm.
AI. Is this AI?
Is it basically going to be let me set the program, and I'm going to launch the run OnSam.exe.
Okay, see if that
All right,
works.
let's check it out. Hey, Sam, how you doing?
Hey, Puko. Hey, Corey, how you doing?
Sam, we've missed you. How you been, brother?
Oh, just out here cranking on a Formula One car. Do you want to smell a Ferrari seat?
Dude, what the Ferrari seat smells like?
Oh, let me tell you, it smells like an Italian sausage, my friend.
Wow, is that like a pizza Italian sausage or like a...
Yeah, you got the short, you got the ground, you got everything that you want here, and
Wow.
just come on out. I'm in Italy right now. I don't know if you can tell. I have my shirt off. It's
You definitely picked up an Italian accent.
yeah,
Sam.
Dankeschön, thank you. Yeah, that's
You-
Italian for thanks.
Seems like you did use Rogaine all over your chest, Sam.
Yeah, things have been tough out here, Paco. I heard that Rogaine came on the show, and I figured to lube myself up if I'm out here on the Italian beaches trying to get myself a cougar.
Wow, dude, Sam. If I wasn't the one who put this together with virtual reality and artificial intelligence,
Yeah.
I would really think that's really you, Sam. Maybe.
Oh, it is me, Puko. How could you forget? Don't you remember this body?
Oh my God, I think he went sentient. What? We're gonna have to stop this. This experiment's got too dangerous. Cancel. Abort. I think he's gone, Corey. You see him? Oh. What happened, Corey?
Thank God we hung up on Sam. Guys, for all you audio listeners over there, that was a picture or was that a video of Sam in Italy?
It was it's a virtual recreation, like a faithful virtual recreation of Sam. Dude, I spent like
how much you pay for that? Did you use our whole budget on bringing Sam back in AI?
I kid you not, I spent like 35 minutes programming the code. Like that's like eternity.
That's dude,
like
you, Pop.
You know,
dude. I knew you were an engineer, but you proved me all wrong. I was worried for a second that we wasted our money on something that wasn't cool, but that was worth whatever you spent on it. I'm gonna be honest.
You have to describe the audio people exactly what we just saw.
So it was basically it was one of the. I actually think Sam's body was an AI because it was very well formed, like a Greek statue. And if you look at a Greek statue, they all have small dongs. So Sam had a very chiseled chest and a small dong, and his eyes didn't blink much. I'd say that was a flaw, but a lot of mouth movement. So
He
maybe
definitely had
if they
hungry
could,
eyes.
yeah. So maybe they can balance that out a little bit. Maybe pay extra. I don't know what that. Maybe like if we can get super chats to help pay for Sam to come back, that would be cool. If not, I get it. Or Patreons will help cover the expense of bringing Sam back.
Bringing Sam back from Italy.
Yeah. So
we'll see. He might come back later.
Yeah, he
during
might
the
be
show.
back
I'll see if I need to fine tune the algorithm, dude. He was going crazy. I think he became sentient. He thought he was a real person.
That was crazy, dude. I'm glad we shut that down. Good thing on stopping the program because I felt like we'd go down a pretty bad rabbit hole. But I do honestly on a real topic here. I really should think that we should talk about why Sam isn't here.
Yeah.
Outside of just the motorsport stuff, and he's been incredibly busy, but. There's a reason why Sam's not here, but like we could just touch on that to give people an idea. I want to be serious. Okay, this is going to be a real serious conversation. I'll make it short. I don't want to go from like the fun being back to like a Debbie Downer. But thanks, Poco. One of the last episodes, couple of the episodes, Sam is a very outspoken individual. I think we can all agree that, but that's what makes Sam. He's a very outgoing person. He says what he says, and he doesn't mean it with any negative intent at all. He usually does it for the meme. Like this dude sprayed his face like Braveheart and said he was Irish or New Zealander or whatever, and on Driver. And there was a couple podcast episodes where we had too many, let's say, of the diehards out there DM Sam. Some of the worst messages that I've personally ever read. I saw Sam not this year, but last year at FD Long Beach. Me and Sam hung out together, and he showed me these messages, and they were so bad. It was actually some of the worst DMs I've probably ever seen on every platform. This is on Facebook and Instagram, and they were bad. All right. Now for Sam, it was like, why do I want to keep doing this?
Yeah.
If these people are just saying the most benign and belittling and literally telling him to do really bad things to himself where he doesn't exist anymore. And he's like, with what I have going on in life right now, I don't want to put myself into a situation where it's toxic and I'm getting these messages and I just need to carry on and be happy. So
especially because he's also busy.
Very busy. So he doesn't need that. Like, here's the thing. If Sam showed up to Driftcast and it was all stars and unicorns and butterflies and double rainbows and things like that, he would probably still be here. But he's like, I'm so busy. I just cannot deal with this additional nonsense to fill my inbox when I'm trying to build something special for everybody to enjoy. Yeah. And this was supposed to be something to enjoy. And unfortunately, Sam got the brunt end of some really bad things said to him. And, you know, he just needed some time to step away and take care of his well-being. And he's in a good place right now, and he'll probably come back one day very soon. And we miss Sam. We love Sam. He will forever be a part of the show.
In the meanwhile, I mean, we have virtual Sam.
We have virtual
which is
Sam.
almost as good as Sam. He's just slightly unhinged, but Sam was also very unhinged.
So if you're listening to this live on YouTube, or if you're listening to this later on in a podcast, go to Drift Idiot's Instagram and just give him a heart or something. Say something nice to him on his DM or his last post. Yeah. Just to kind of give him some good juices here.
Tell him that we miss him, that we remember him, and that we want him.
Paco,
in
he's
our
not
lives.
dead. He's just not here. But so he's.
I mean, I know he's not obviously, but
Puko.
But you know, it's like it's. You know, like when you have a friend that hasn't posted on any social media for a couple years, and then you suddenly posted, it was like, oh shit, I thought this guy was dead.
Yep. No, it's like, Sam's still taking and kicking, dude. He's gray as hell, dude. He actually looks like a polar bear now. He is just the dude is so hairy, hairy.
I mean, we virtual Sam definitely had some trimming going on. So,
dude, Ripley's, believe it or not, tried hiring him. You know that, for being the world's hairiest man. And
he told Jared to move out of the way.
Yeah, he told Beast Jared to step aside. Look at me, I'm the hairiest dude this side of the Mississippi, brother. But also, with Driftcast coming back, you know, one thing that we want to talk about before we get on the show with Chelsea DeNofa.
What?
Do you guys remember him? I hope you guys remember Chelsea, because Chelsea quit drifting last year.
Yeah, what a crybaby.
Dude.
Like, I'm done drifting.
I
hate this thing.
He's going to Drifting Anonymous to, you know, rehabilitate and get back on his foot. So Chelsea quit drifting, and if Chelsea quits, why don't we quit, right?
Yeah, I mean, why are we doing this? Exactly. Yeah. Well, so we'll see. Maybe when Chelsea comes in, he might tell us why we should just, like, stop.
But for a lot of people that are now listening, since we're a lot older and we haven't, you know, did a podcast in like 5 or 6 years, what people are going to be like, what is Driftcast? I never heard of you guys anymore. What is Driftcast? Well, we'll tell you what Driftcast is. Driftcast is a podcast, you guessed it, about drifting, right? Yes. It's everything about drifting, and this is why we love Driftcast so much, because we can talk about the great things about drifting. Yeah. We could talk about the bad things about drifting. Yeah. We can talk about how expensive drifting is. Yeah. We could talk about how we went broke in drifting. We could talk about our successes in drifting. We could talk about joke about drifting. We could talk about problems that happen in drifting. We could talk about the upsides of drifting, the downsides of drifting. We could talk about, you guys, everything about drifting. And here's the thing, is nobody takes it personal, because it's just a conversation that is just being had. Yeah. So if you're coming in here and be like, I don't like what you said about thing, it's a conversation. Yeah, you can talk about it, you don't bit about it. It doesn't matter, because
like if it comes, for example, like when it comes to like something happened at an event and there's like a clarification from the judges, and we basically try to explain the clarifications. It's not us making the clarifications either. We're just explaining what's being explained to us. We're not infallible. We can be wrong too.
Yeah, 100%. You know? Like half the shit we do is we either get it from the drivers, through our Facebook group, through our Discord, or go directly to the source, and we try to bring it to you guys to have the real conversation happen. Now, we're going to be right all the time. Trust me, we've been wrong a lot of times, but there's also times where we've been right, where a lot of things in motorsports have changed. Drifting has, you know, we've had some small influence to help steer and navigate and bring people together to make small changes to make this sport better. And that's all we care about. So even though we're having a discussion that is like uncomfortable to have with somebody, it's for the betterment of this. And that's the whole idea what Driftcast is. So don't take it personal. If we say something that makes you upset, it's not to make you upset. Yeah. It's just to have an open, honest conversation about making this better for everybody at the end. Just know that. Yeah. It's to make it better for everybody at the end.
Basically what Corey's saying is, don't talk shit to Corey either, because then he'll quit too. And then I can't run this shit by myself.
Oh, please, Paco, this would be great. You would do it in Spanish and probably just...
sí.
We could just tap into that Latino audience.
Es la Fórmula Drift. Bienvenidos.
Papito.
En Telemundo.
Dude, that's what we're missing on. We need to hit that Latin market harder than ever. So, you know, maybe we could get that AI technology that we used on Sam and just make us both Españole.
See.
Also, can you hand me that trophy there real quick?
Yes.
We want to show you guys something. So, for you guys that are just listening here, I'm holding a third place trophy, the Streets of Long Beach 2017. This is Ryan Turtleneck's trophy. We stole this from him. We stole this from him as a place that we can always see Ryan Turtleneck's, one of his best performances at Long Beach. But it's a memento that we have here. Now, after the last episode,
By the way, every time I see him, he's like, "Hey, do you still have my trophy, right?"
No. Can I tell you how many beers we drank out of this thing when the cameras are off, dude? This thing just... Damn, it smells like Paco's tube sock next to his bed. What? I smelled that thing this morning when I showed up here. So here's the thing is, after having our episode last week, it was an episode, our test
episode.
We had a
our test episode.
So we had a Pro 2 driver send us something, Paco, and I want to show it to you right now.
What is it?
I'm not going to say the driverver's name, but
he asked us to keep it anonymous.
As you can see, our studio's developing for you people watching it, on YouTube. But for you people not, we have spaghetti cans everywhere. We have mementos from the history of drifting, essentially. It's some of the most iconic pieces of memento. And this driver reached out to us and says, "I want to add something to the studio." Okay.
Yeah.
We just got this the other day. Look at this. Puko. Look at this. We have a Pro Spec carbon fiber trophy. All right. This is a first place trophy, by the way.
Oh, wow.
The driver did take off the label. He said he wanted to keep the label.
Stay anonymous also.
And he put number 1 drifting podcast on the front here.
Show the camera. Let's see.
And the sticker there. It says right there.
Wow.
Now,
Corey, you look very natural holding a trophy, by the way.
Too bad I never held one, but hey, I feel good. I feel great, dude. If 33rd was a trophy, I'd have 100 of these things. But hey, that's what I get. But yeah, now we have a Pro 2 carbon fiber Formula Drift trophy. So thank you, anonymous. You know who it is. I wasn't going to say your name, but sick. Okay,
let's put it right here next to Turkey's.
Turks trophy.
There you go.
Right there. So now we have our two trophy pieces.
Nice. Well, thank you so much. I mean, let me hold it real quick. Dude, it is actually heavier than the Pro.
Is it heavier than the Pro?
Yeah, it's like the Pro is like real carbon fiber. This was like it is carbon fiber too, by the way.
What is that? Is that
no, the real carbon fiber. It's one of those things like, I'd like to thank Rogaine for giving me this opportunity. I couldn't be here without you.
If you, Paco, so let's say you competed in your Corvette that was supposed to be done 7 years ago. If you got into a Formula Drift podium in your Corvette, okay, what would you do when you got on the podium? What was the first thing that you would do?
Oh, you seen the meme of the guy like biting the metal and
I'm going to Disneyland.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What would you do?
Corey, that's a good question. I never thought about what would I ever do.
And that's why you'll never get on the podium.
Oh, God damn it.
And that's...
Well, I need to start competing if I want to go on the podium. So if I never competed, definitely not going to go on the podium.
So you would have no idea.
I'll probably do my favorite dude is just pull a double Richard Nixon.
Oh, you just give a double peace sign up on... Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is I'm not looking forward for Paco to get on the podium. You wouldn't rip off your shirt and have pasties underneath your shirt. You have an opportunity to really, really take advantage of that moment where Jared goes up to you. You guys, here's our podium. We got, Frederick Osbo in 3rd place, James Dean in 2nd place, and Taco Ibarra on the top. And think about it. You just smoked James Dean. You just smoked, and you wouldn't know what to do.
I mean,
dude.
I'll probably walk there in my hands, totally upside down.
do a handstand.
No pants.
Do a handstand.
The little helicopter.
Or you could show up on a wheelchair and it's this is what you get for carrying you guys. Your just legs are tired from carrying James Dean and Osbo. Just oh man, I've been carrying these two all this event, and I have to go up on stage and. No, but we got the 2 trophies, so that was Thank you guys, and obviously
thank you, anonymous prospect first place driver. Do the math, people.
And the other thing too is, do we have a PO box or anything? Cool.
Oh, I'll set it up, but we can I used to have my actual address for if people wanted to send stuff, but then we started getting letters with weird powder.
Yeah,
and there was one time somebody left a paper bag with what I suspect was a bunch of chocolates inside.
Yeah.
But they set it on fire.
Really?
So, yeah, I don't know like what
Like
was
a bunch of chocolates on fire. Maybe
Yeah, I mean,
it was like a
chocolate flambe.
what is that called? A pizookie?
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what it was. I don't know, but like I'm definitely like not putting my address out there anymore, because what if I am like like a sugary what do you call it, like
What's that? You don't got a sweet tooth.
a sweet tooth? Yeah.
You don't have the sweet tooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to talk to someone that knew anything about trophies, because I wonder what these actually are worth. Because if you think about how much energy and how many people and how much money goes into this, this thing's probably a $50,000-$60,000 trophy.
I'll tell you, there's somebody who knows what you're talking about.
Who called in here? Is it Castro? Jonathan Castro?
It's Jonathan Castro. Welcome to the show.
Whoa, you got really pale, Jonathan.
That's not Jonathan
That's
Castro.
not,
Hold on.
Wait, who's this guy? Who's this?
I think you're muted, buddy.
Who's this guy? He looks like a
Check.
There you
Oh,
go. Hey.
You said check like you're a rapper. Do you listen to hip hop? Hip hop?
I couldn't hear you guys. It was doing a test thing, so I was
Okay.
like, but yeah.
Okay,
Wow,
so
the
that
show
kind
exists again?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
real?
dude.
that kind of sucked if you didn't hear us, because we actually introduced you as a Pell version of Jonathan Castro. So,
Oh.
you missed that opportunity. Damn it. Dude, Chelsea, my God. Guys, by the way, Chelsea DeNofa in the studio digitally
The
with
champ.
us.
The current champ.
Chelsea, let me show you something here. Okay, I want to show you something that you've
All right,
only
what you got?
dreamed of. Okay? Take a look at this. You know what
Ooh.
that is?
I do. It's a flower vase.
Yeah.
My man, okay, that's
One of
test
the-
number one.
Here's
Test
one thing
number
that
two, this is probably something you haven't seen in a long time,
Well, he
buddy,
never got one of those.
but I'm going to show you this. You know what that is?
I'm very jealous of that because I never got one of those cups. I only got the flower vases.
This is actually this is our trophy, okay? This is a
What's it
Driftcast.
say?
Let me show you one. This says here. Can you see that? Let me see.
No.
Hey,
Oh,
Brian.
I see. Number one Drift podcast.
This came in.
Ooh.
We had here. Look
Shots
at that. Look at-
fired.
See that shit right there? There it is. We got that.
perfect.
Also, I want to show you something else I got you. This is. Do you know what this is?
Nope.
It's the bass flute.
It's a bass flute, dude.
This
Come
is,
on.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, you know what you do?
You're a show veteran. Like, I'm pretty sure you knew
You
about
play this in order to summons the drift
It looks like a
overlord.
dog bone from here.
It is.
I mean,
It
basically,
could be
that's
a
what
dog. It could be. It could be. I would not play with this dog bone though, because you might get a pink eye or an infection. But that's what that is. It's a bass flute. God, you are perfect. You know that? I haven't seen you and we haven't talked to you in ages. And
You look great, Chelsea. Is it
look-
because like
you
you're
look
not drifting
phenomenal.
anymore?
Yeah, probably.
That's probably what it is.
by the way, hold on.
Uh-oh.
We're saying we're getting echo from the champion. Are we getting an echo from the champion right now? Chelsea, say
no
something.
way.
Say something again.
Hold
I
on.
think-
Let's see. Let's
Okay.
see.
Is it desktop audio? Turn down desktop audio real quick, Brian. Hold
Let's
on.
try this. Is that better?
No, it's us.
Hold on.
It's us real quick. Hold on. We're gonna have look at. Would we come back and not have technical difficulties if this? Come on. Hold on. Stand by. Slide the desktop audio down real quick. Let me do this. Hold on, Chelsea. Look at this, dude. Welcome back to the podcast where we break things all the time now, dude.
Yeah. I mean, what else is new?
That's
Say
where it's
something again.
coming.
Check. One,
No,
two.
see, he's coming
1,
from-
2.
he's coming
Interesting.
Yeah. So, anyways, hopefully that fixed it.
Ah.
So, if you're watching live, please let us know if that worked. If it didn't, then we're just not good IT guys. All right.
Let's see. I mean, let's see if people can actually hear him pretty good.
Wow,
Talk-
look at
talk
that.
Chelsea.
It's going crazy.
Chelsea, say something.
I'm here.
Oh, there you
Hello.
go. Oh, okay.
Something.
Perfect. Okay.
So Chelsea, dude, welcome back. Yes, we are back on. We're back. We're live again. We Paco and myself. I don't know if you heard about Sam, but Sam is stuck in the border Tijuana.
Oh. This is a reoccurring thing for him, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all started that day, that fateful day when he tried to sneak a machete through TSA.
Yeah.
Real story.
The last
And-
thing I heard from
see-
him was saying, "I'm just gonna see what the donkey show's about," and I never seen him since. So
You probably liked it too much. You just stay there. They hired him.
Yeah. Do you know what the donkey show is, Chelsea? Do you know what that is?
No, it's a donkey show.
I was hoping you would know because I have no.
Corey, no, Corey,
clue.
please tell the
I
audience.
don't know. That's what I was going to ask Chelsea.
Well, what do you think it
You're
is?
very red right now. Why are you so red?
What? The studio lighting, and plus, I may have seen a donkey show on accident before when I was out there street
You
gambling.
didn't know what it was.
Yeah. Well, because we have about 6 million people watching, that I want to give them the idea and put them on an addiction that Sam's down.
Yeah.
But, Chelsea, I first of all, welcome back as the first guest of Driftcast again. It's awesome to see you and everything that you've done since we've last talked about 5 years ago, but you're here.
Thanks for having me. I
The
appreciate it.
champ.
Dude, I do have a question for you. I want to start. There's 2 questions I'm going to ask you right off the rip before we actually start digging into stuff. First question, I've been waiting 5 years to say this. What gives you the right?
Wow.
Right for what?
Dude, it's like it's your first time on the show. Come on.
That's it. That's it. It could be the right for anything. That was okay. That's question number 1, which you nailed.
That was a test he passed.
Question number 2. Okay. I know you've been around drifting since you were a little baby, right? I remember when you were a kid, you were born. When you shot out of the womb, you landed in a bed that was shaped as a car. Then you involved into this World Championship drifter, right? For RTR, which is the largest, drifting organization, one of the best, premier. You've probably smelt every type of tire, right? Would you say tires do have a different smell when they burn?
Yeah, they all smell different.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you. I'm going to say tire, and you try to describe on what it smells like. Okay. Let's say this. First,
All
right. How would you describe the smell of a Falcon tire?
So I am literally allergic to Falcon tires.
Oh, so that's a thing.
The smell of them, like someone drifts by and my nose starts like swirling. I'm like, he's on Falcons. 9 times out of 10, I walk over. I'm like, it's like someone cut fresh grass. I'm like allergic to it.
Really?
Oh, jeez. Okay. That's actually that's a good description.
It's weird. So it's like a fresh smell, a Falcon, but it's like at the same time, it's like not sweet or not like, I don't know. It's just like a fresh grass type smell.
It's
allergic to it.
Okay.
Yeah, I wonder if it's maybe because of their full organic compound.
That may be.
They use full organic cows.
Okay. Yep.
The grass fed.
Yeah, that's true.
And to make the tires.
The second tire that I want to ask you about.
Grass-fed tires.
Yeah, exactly.
The second tire I do want to ask you about is because you ran on these with RTR. How would you describe a Nitto tire smell?
The Nitto is like a robust smell. Like if tires could be like coffee, it's like a strong smell.
Okay.
Did we just
it's
discover?
more of like a little bit bitter almost in comparison to some of the other ones.
Did we just discover like a subgenre of tire aficionado?
Well, this is a thing. That's why I'm asking Chelsea. So here's my last tire, right?
Hints of cherry and sandalwood.
So we have the Falcon smell. We have the Nitto smell. Can you tell me what a Kumho tire smells like?
Kumo.
What is it?
Yeah, no.
Kumo,
I
Corey.
don't really
Kumo.
know. I haven't driven with or around those a lot. To tell you that.
Dude,
I'm glad that was
Chelsea saved you right there because
Why?
that means mispronunciation. Corey,
What
wow.
was it? Was I wrong?
Yeah.
Chelsea, did I not say it right? Well, how do you say it?
Kumo.
Oh, what did I say? Paco, what did I say?
I can't remember. So Chelsea.
Yeah, something vulgar. I feel like.
I have no idea. Listen, we're trying to figure out how to do this again, but thanks for answering those questions. That's pretty much it for the episode.
Yeah, thanks for your time, Chelsea.
Great being
all
a
right.
champ.
No, Chelsea, like seriously, what have you been doing now that basically you came, dominated, kind of like you finally did the thing that we all knew, but we knew. It was just coming. Chelsea beating everybody, throwing backies at the judges, flipping them because I'm still going to do it, and still finally winning. And then, what was it, like a week after you win the championship, you announce your retirement?
Yeah, and I think that is a discussion that needs to be had. But I want to step back.
Okay,
well,
let's step back. Sorry,
because
Chelsea, sorry.
that is the evolution of Chelsea DeNofa, and now he's stepping to the other phase. I want to start this off right. I want to start this off back to Chelsea DeNofa, going through Nopi and XTC and all these things, and now he's entering Formula Drift in 2012, right? Was your first year, 2012?
Yep.
In his clapped out E36. which.
Hey.
Well, you're driving Porsches now,
Take
dude.
it easy.
You're driving Porsches.
Listen.
You just came off.
That was one of the greatest cars ever.
Do you know what? You did win you did win Long Beach in that.
No, it was E46.
E46.
But that car did win 2 championships and 37 events.
Dude, so
wow.
Now
37.
Jesus. Dude.
Wait, so you went through only one E36 and then multiple E46s? Because I remember one time you told us that you basically just changed new chassis every year, put a new E46, and just swap everything to
No, we strip it down and just refresh it. But we had 2 E36s, one coupe, which is the one I bought like right out of high school, and I like street drift, deliver pizzas, all that stuff in that car, and that went all the way till 2010, and then we built the sedan.
Yeah, so you obviously, for the longest time that I've known you, you've been a BMW guy, right? You stepped in the Formula Drift of BMW. Did you honestly, like, when you first stepped into it, you had issues, you had troubles, you did really good. Obviously, like, in 2012, you had you versus Daigo, like, that was a big thing. Did you think you would make it to where you were at last year? Like, how did this play out the way you wanted to?
Yeah, it did play out the way I wanted to. It just was something. It was like a longer road than I expected, but I think that when I first started driving FD, I believed that there was a possibility for me to win. I think if you don't believe in yourself winning, you're kind of doing yourself a disservice unless you just go there to have fun, obviously. But I think that I saw myself being able to win a championship. It was just like how it was going to happen. I didn't know at the point. I was just like, I'm not going to stop until I do, kind of thing.
So that was kind of like, that was like the hunger, the drive was like, dude, I don't want to stop. Because was there a point that you did want to? Like, have you ever felt like, do you know what, I'm done?
A couple times. Yeah. 2016, my last year in the BMW, I had like one of the worst years. I had one Long Beach, which was great. That was like my first win in FD. And then I just had some sort of mechanical failure at every round. And in between every round, I probably spent like at least 125, 150 hours like preparing for the next round to not have another failure. And just unfortunately kept having failures after failures. It was a rough year. And at the end, I was like, yep, I'm done. And then like a little voice in the back of my head was like, you should just drive for somebody else. You proved that you can win. You've done really well. Like, you should just drive for somebody else. Because, like, clearly whatever you're doing isn't going to work. You're not capable of keeping a team and a car running and all that. But you are capable of winning. And you are capable of marketing yourself. So we just need to get in a car that's really good. So I walked around the paddock and talked to some team owners and stuff and kind of changed my outlook on everything.
Yeah, that was kind of like a legendary story. We still tell that a lot. Like, you literally stormed into Vaughn's trailer and told him that you were going to drive for him next year. Like, obviously that was like, dude, and that's the thing is, even from like that era you got in up until now, it's like that set the tone for a lot of the 2-car team stuff. That set the tone of like, no, you just got to kind of, grab your clams and go in there and just get what you want out of it if you truly do want it. Because at the time it was like a lot of people were doing what a lot of people thought to do, was to single car team it. I can do it alone. And sometimes you can. We've seen it done, but it's just like having that extra support obviously puts you into an incredible position. Going back to the E36, obviously I want to talk more about the RTR stuff. It's like, as you started knowing and developing your chassis more and developing your car more, what was some things you felt that you needed to add to your program to really give you that step to saying, if I do want to be a champion one day, I need this, and this. What would you say was the recipe for you to win at that current state?
Yeah, so back then it was just finding the support to be able to do it financially. I remember just like spending countless hours trying to find partnerships and build out like basically these big arrays of like complex marketing strategies and like all these things that we could do to like be different and offer something that other people weren't offering. And just getting people to believe that, like, hey, I've been doing this. Back then it would have been for like, I've been doing this for 10 years and I haven't missed an event ever. Like, just put faith in me and let's do this. Like, trust the process kind of thing. But like I think the things that kind of I at least prioritized were having a car that was undoubtedly competitive, and like that was always my thing. Was like you could be a really good driver, you can be really good at marketing, you can be really good at working on your car, building your car, but if you get there and as a driver you can't use your car to win, like you're there what I believe no reason, right? So back then I was looking at what everybody else was doing and horsepower, horsepower, horsepower. And I was like, well, I think you could just make your car lighter and lighter and lighter. So I started engineering the car to be the lightest car in Formula D. And that was like my goal. Like if I have the lightest car in Formula D, that means I can have the least amount of power and I could possibly win. So that was like the evolution of that car over the 5 years I ran it in Formula D.
What year was that when you started making that change? Like, was that right before you left to RTR? Like, when did you start realizing that, making that change? Because even if you might, obviously you're going to remember this, is everybody's like, more weight, bigger tire, right? There was a period where everybody was like, just stack this thing up and give me a 315, and you actually went the other route.
Yeah, I kind of did it in the very, very beginning. Like, I had raced a lot of like Spec Miata stuff and all that, and realized like the weight was so important and like having it in the right places. But my first E36 like pro build car was the sedan that I drove an FD, and that car was 2,500 back then. And then I would say 2015 when we moved to GT Radial, it was a little bit of a unfortunate tire back then. We had just the standard like 300 treadwear, like pretty normal tire, and everybody else was getting new stuff. So I was like, yo, I'm going to make my car as light as possible. So we got the E46 down to like 2,300 pounds. It was like, I think 25, 30 with me in it.
Soaking wet.
What tire were you running on that? Like, what size were you running at that weight?
It was a 265, but it measured in the 250s. So we were like a 260 sticker tire. Yeah. So we added like some ballast to get to weight, and that was pretty much it.
And so for the people that don't know, even though the sidewall does say specific size, it's actually a physical measurement that actually dictates the tire width. So you could run a 265 as long as the width of it was actually the proper size. So a lot of people that know that when Chelsea was saying he was running a 265, it actually was the width of a 255, which made it legal for that weight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and even that, it was a 35 sidewall, so it was basically the same size as the Pro Spec guys run now, but the old version of the GT. So it didn't quite have as much grip. And we were just like, yo, if we want to make this work and we have this tire company that wants to support us back then, I was like, we got to lighten this thing up as much as possible.
Were you a super mega suspension nerd back then too?
Yeah, I've been a suspension nerd since the beginning because like everything else just costs so much money. Like, big power, big weight, axles, drivetrain, all this stuff just like costs so much money. And like for me, it was like if I could make my car work better on a lower cost tire, lower cost everything, like having the right setup, making my job a little bit easier gets me a lot farther,
So what about like the cost of suspension? Like the cost of getting the right parts, the right coilovers, the right arms. Like, do you think it's still like cheaper than
throwing 1,000 horsepower at your car?
Well, maybe not necessarily 1,000.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Because don't get me wrong. I mean, I agree that suspension setup is like probably the most overseen thing in drifting. But let's not it's not like it's free. But But
it's kind of free because everybody has all the same stuff. Like you go to the track, and if you're at a Pro-Am event or some sort of competition, every single driver has coilovers. Every single driver has all the suspension arms. Everything, like for the most part, right?
Nowadays, but what about back then when you were just
suspension technology came that
similar.
far? Yeah, it's like suspension technology came a long way since 2000. I think that's a Chelsea question. I think Chelsea would know better than me and you.
What do you think? Like, has suspension really changed that much in years? Like, it seems to me like it's getting more and more advanced. Like it's not as simple as it used to be, right?
Yeah, I think everybody's kind of catching up to that for sure. I think that in the beginning, like especially a lot of the higher teams in FD, like they were all doing stuff that people are doing now, like 10 years ago. and just they had figured it out because they had to figure it out because someone else did, and then they had to be competitive and keep up with them. And that's kind of what I was saying, like back 2008 and on, like when I started doing all the E36 stuff, I spent a lot more time worrying about the chassis and how well it worked and understanding how I could adjust the car to be the best in every single turn, that like other people would just show up and not even know to run less than 25 PSI of tire pressure, less adjusting the shock to make a difference, changing wheel spacers and sway bars to make a difference. So while they were struggling, I was already turning good laps because I had the car like benchmarked a lot better than them.
So let me ask, this is going to be a tricky one. All right. Stay with me on this one.
Okay.
All right. Suspension setup, tire, driver, and horsepower. If you had to add a percent onto each one, give me a percent between tire, suspension, driver, and horsepower.
Okay. So that's tough. So the tire is the most important part.
Okay.
You could have an absolutely piece of shit suspension car that is way wrong and way stiff and way awful. But if you have a crazy tire, it's going to be just as fast as someone who has a crappy tire and all the engineering you could possibly put in it for the speed aspect. The tire is the only thing that touches the ground. So if you have a super crazy sticky tire, it's going to be a lot. And then I think driver and horsepower kind of match because, like, if you have a bunch of horsepower, don't have a good tire, and you have a good driver, you can make something happen. Okay. And then flip the other way, your driver's so-so, but the car has tons of grip and tons of power. Like, he might be able to make things happen. And then, obviously, in drifting, there's a battle of it's lead and chase. So if you can chase with the grip and you're good enough to do that, maybe on the lead, you're going to gap the guy and win that way, I don't know. I would say they're all pretty even, but the tire is more important than the suspension for sure.
So it'd be tire, suspension, and then the driver and the horsepower is like, worry about that type of last.
Yeah, I think the horsepower is probably the last for sure.
Horsepower is last.
I don't know.
I mean,
and I think the driver is obviously really important too because the driver has to make that tire and suspension work too. I mean,
damn it. I was hoping that I could just put shocks and tires in my car and I go win something, but that's out the window.
But I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense. Definitely, like you say, like if you can have everything right, and if you don't have the right tire, basically you're rowing against the current, right? But also, I think a lot of people don't understand that the tire itself has adjustment, and the tire becomes, it can be multiple tires in just one tire, depending on your setup, depending on what width wheel you mounted, how many PSI, you put glue or not glue on it, etc., etc.
Can we talk about that too? Can we talk about the glue tire situation if that did happen?
Sure.
See, this is why I love Chelsea.
Happened.
This is why I love Chelsea because we're away from Formula Drift and we don't have to worry about any secrets and we can talk about anything we want. Paco did say there's a bunch of adjustments.
I was never hiding the glue when I was gluing them.
So, yeah. So,
which, by the way, for the record, I think it should be allowed because, like, to me that's kind of like a safety thing. You know what I mean? It's like,
I mean, technically, if we want to get really technical, you can pull the rule book up. It still says that you can't have a device that attaches the tire, not a substance. So
that's
technically, it's still legal 10 years later.
That's true. What round was that and what year? Because people are like, glue ? So we were talking about tire adjustment to kind of bring this full circle for everybody. Yeah. Obviously, we're talking about suspension and tires have an adjustability depending on what PSI you run. During that time, or even now currently, drivers are running, 6 pounds, 7 pounds, 8 pounds of tire pressure. So essentially that roll could debead the tire. And Chelsea being, I want to say like, if you're not, what's that quote? It's like, if you're not cheating, you're not trying hard enough. Or if, there's
an F1 quote.
There's a weird quote floating around. But Chelsea was always the one that was like, take big risks to make chances so he could go win. Right. Yeah. And it was Florida.
Yeah. But like, I also read the rule book and it said a device and glue is a substance. So I just roll with that.
Dude, you got such a big brain, dude. I give Chelsea. I'm just glad he's using his head other than a hat rack. The dude has a brain in there.
He's beating them with grammar.
Yep.
That's how clever this.
Well,
this
they
kid
beat
is.
me because also in the rule book it says they can do whatever they want at any moment. So it
Whatever
doesn't
you
really
do.
matter.
Shove your grammar up yours.
Yeah, check this out. Fine
Yeah, it
print.
does.
Screw
It
your
says, like,
thoughts.
something along the lines of like, we have the last say in any sort of situation. So, whatever.
Dude, so
It's fine.
Yes.
They made an example of me for
Yeah.
sure.
What?
Which
So
is fair.
give us the. So it was in Florida, right? You put what glue on your tires, and what happened?
Yeah, so we were having a problem where we weren't actually debeating, but we were running such a low pressure that it would like burp the air out during the run.
Was this on
So you
RTR?
come
Just
off
to
the
make
bank.
sure. Was this RTR or?
No, it was my
Okay,
own car.
okay.
So we'd this was 2016. So basically we'd tap the bank coming down, like the transition, and it would go from, I don't know, 6 PSI to like 4. And then the tire would roll over. It wouldn't even fall off the wheel. It would just basically be undrivable at that point because the sidewall was so small, you'd be like scraping the wheel on the ground.
Right.
So we were like, we need to be able to keep 6 in there. Like, how do we do that? And I was like, all these off-road guys always just ran like this DAP roof tar to seal the tire so it wouldn't burp air out. Like, because off-road guys run really low pressure, but they have humongous tires, so it's really easy for it to pop air out of it. And so we started just basically using this roofing tar around the edge of the wheel that would allow the tire to like come off the wheel a little bit, but it would create like a gasket there so it wouldn't leak air out.
Dude, so does 6 pounds makes a big enough difference compared to 9 pounds?
Well, I remember back then, like, we were pretty maxed out on the chassis side of things. I was spending lots of time trying to figure that out. We ran like airbags in the rear suspension, so it was adjustable. We ran all sorts of stuff, and changing the geometry of stuff and getting yelled at by Kevin for rules that weren't really written quite often. And then I was like, man, like, let's just try to run like 4 pounds of tire pressure. So we ran like 4 pounds and we picked up speed. It was like really shitty to drive, but we picked up speed. And I'm like, like how low can we go before it's like drivable? And like 5.5 or so was like the limit on low pressure side of things. But again, like it was like the car drove bad, but it was fast. And I'm like, I could drive it. This is what we got to do. Just got to drive with flat tires all the time.
I want to get into that more later on because that's the thing now is like you're actually a big advocate for this. I would say I've seen it pop up more now. Is like take some grip out of it, boys. You've been posting a lot about that. I want to talk to you more about that, but just
it does sound like somebody who used to drift a Miata. You know, like they're used to just overcompensate for things. Like I'll just do it. So, I mean, in my opinion, this speaks lengths. Like people who can drift Miatas, right? Can probably drift a car with 0 PSI, you know, like.
Yeah, I've most of my accomplishments are because I started drifting a Miata for sure.
Dude,
all hail, dude. I guess even in drifting, the answer is always Miata.
Yeah. And that
That's right.
was that the last year of your program that you did that? Was that like you were like, you know what? I've thrown everything I could at this thing. I'm done.
Yeah, we did a lot, and then that's basically where we ended up. And again, it was like just a misfortunate tire at the time. Like everybody had gotten revisions and made a better tire, and everybody had all this grip. And we were lucky enough to be in an E36, E46 chassis, so we could put a lot of grip on this tire anyway. But to get the last like little bit of speed we needed to be able to keep up with some of the really fast guys there, we had to run that super low tire pressure.
Yeah, damn. And then you said, you know what, Erwindale, we're done. I need to grab my cojones. I'm gonna go kick Vaughn's door down, talk to Vaughn, and ask for a ride.
That's I gotta say that's one of my favorite stories.
It's one of the most iconic stories
about
still to this day. Yeah, because we still talk about it.
Listen, you're gonna hire me. I'm gonna drive for you.
And Vaughn was like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm so sorry.
Yes, Chelsea.
Whatever you need.
Oh, that's not exactly how it went.
Here's
But
my
something
car.
like that.
Oh, that's how I remember it.
He was like, woo, get out the door, and pointed to the
Yeah,
door
that's
and
right.
swung his hat around and pointed to the door. But going from the E36, E46, and this is going to come full circle too once I wrap up, you stepped in the RTR. How much different was it from going your own program and driving your BMW to the Mustang?
As different as you could ever possibly think. It was on every level completely backwards from basically what I have done my whole life. It was crazy.
Is it just the way it drove? Is it how it responded to your inputs? What made it that?
Yeah, so I went from a car that I had completely engineered myself and had a lot of like little weird things and like 2,500 pounds with me in it, like we were saying, on a less grippy tire, to a 3,300 pound V8 Mustang without trailing arms, and someone who had some other person that had been engineering the car and setting it up to win, and had a completely different theory as to what I had. So it was a very, very big change.
Interesting.
Do you feel that I take that back. I was going to ask, do you feel their theory was right, but also won you a championship? So do you still believe in that path that they set up versus what you have now?
So I was really open-minded, and really kind of talked to everybody and spoke to everybody in a way that kind of allowed them to keep the car the way they wanted for a year so that I could learn and educate myself and not look like the new dickhead kid that came out and just started yelling at everybody because it was wrong. So I spent the year kind of like developing my own thoughts and process while trusting their process.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard to deny, right? They're
right.
championship winning team. Like, you know, these cars are all new. And at the time, like, it was the IRS was new, and like a lot of these changes had happened. And the cars were good. Like, we did really well that year still. Like, my first year, it was good. But I was kind of like, Vaughn, I really would like to try some things. I spent the year like trusting the process. Can we start making some changes in the off season, or at least try some theories that I have that are easy to implement? And he kind of was like, okay, I would try a couple things. And we did. And I had some things that I liked. He had some things that he liked. We kind of separated a little bit in the car setup. And then I think by year 3, maybe it was year 4, I think it was year 3, he was kind of like, just take the car and set it up however you want. And they kind of like allowed me to change all the things I wanted to change because I had spent the time, put the effort in. I'd learned some of the things that I liked didn't work with that car, but I was trying to become one with that car so I could start winning and doing well. And like, there were things about it that Vaughn could pull up next to you in a F450 with a trailer hitched, and he pulls up to you next to the line. You're like, man, here we go. I got to try hard. Because he's going to do everything.
Yeah.
He'll drive anything, and he'll drive the wheels off it, put the car everywhere it's supposed to be. And unfortunately, like, I'm only like that with some stuff. Like, when it gets to be super hooked up and, like, that it gets really tough to drive, like, I need certain things about that car to help me, you know? And he's just like, dude, what? Just drive it. Just only drive what it has. And I'm like, I can't. Like, you have that skill. Maybe I can find that at some point, but I never really did. And we made lots of changes to the car, and you could kind of see over the years the changes. And I think by year 4, we had some really big strides in like flattening the car out a bunch, putting a lot of side bite into it, and really making the motors zing and make lots of power so we could blow through the tires when we needed to.
Yeah, I was going to say, and the reason why I asked you that is, you know, talking about making that jump from your BMW chassis to the RTR is like, you look at Vaughn is now putting a lot of people in that seat, right? You had James Dean, you had Adam LZ, and now you have Ben Hobson out there. And it's like, you know, you've adapted pretty quickly considering the many changes. It's like, what timeline would you put on somebody like Ben to actually start performing on what you think he's worth? And even see James Dean this year, finally, like, obviously catching on fire and then doing the performance he did at Atlanta. Like, James now feels like he's a part of that car. How would you say, like, what is that timeline for somebody like Ben to actually start performing the way he should?
I think the team and everyone, and even the Mustang in general, has become a much more adjustable tool, if that makes sense. I think when I joined, you know, they had only Vaughn and only the guys who were setting the cars up. And Vaughn was very much like, you know what's the best and you know what can win, right? So, like, when that dynamic changed a lot with what I had going on, because obviously I'm like, guys, I want to win. Like, we need to win. I'm struggling. I'm doing my best. Like, we need to make some changes so that we can win. And the cars are changing in Formula Drift. Like, you know, like, they're getting faster. Everyone's figuring out all these tricks that maybe we had an advantage on previously that we don't have anymore. So we need an easier car to drive that's faster. Like once you say that, it's like, oh, okay, it'll get easier and faster. Is that even possible? And it is,
Mm-hmm.
So I think like my struggle was a 2.5 year struggle. I think I had a podium in my second year with them, a win, or no, maybe just a podium. I can't even remember. Texas was my first win. Would have been, I can't remember. But either way, like James was stepping into a car that was further developed and had 2 drivers already that could help him, and James is one of the best drivers in the world. So he's going to adapt and listen and do what he needs to. And then ultimately he's going to give feedback on things he wants to change. And now that the team has a little bit more like flexibility with that stuff, I think it helps happen quicker.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah. So like if you were talking to Ben right now, what piece of advice would you give somebody new to the RTR team to either help them sooner, or what would you tell Ben essentially right now to help him out?
I think I kind of did tell him some, because I watch him drive his cars, and I'm a big person on like practice how you play, right? So like when you go out and drive a fun car, when you're driving in Formula Drift and you're doing, running the Mustangs and with RTR, all your fun cars, doesn't matter if it's a Miata, a Mustang, a E36 or whatever, you should be setting it up so that the weakness of the Mustang is in those other cars. So you can get as much seat time as you can dealing with that type of scenario. One of the weaknesses that the cars have is just a front grip scenario. Like you got to drive them so hard all the time. And the front grip it's always there, but it's not always confident in the steering. And I saw Ben driving with like crazy sticky front tires on his cars and free up rear tires. And I was like, you need to get rid of that and put something like all season on the front of this car and learn how to drive it, because you're going to get to the Mustangs. And when they're hooked up and it's time to go and you're trying to win, you got to know how to drive a car that's light on the front end, not super sticky on the front end,
Wait, so the Mustang is light on the front?
Very light on the front, yeah.
Is that why
a lot of their cars in FDR now, know?
Is that why it tends to do the 3-wheeling thing, or is that just more like? Because I mean, I always thought it looked super cool, like just steering.
Only
with
if
one
cool
tire.
was a judged aspect, right?
X
You
Factor.
get 6 cool points.
If only X Factor existed.
Oh, they got rid of X Factor, right? Wasn't
it only lasted a season.
I don't remember. Was X Factor
doing a
only
wheelie
season?
shouldn't be X Factor. It's just cool. It's like whatever.
I don't know, dude. Like if you and Freddie
Bring
Cosmo,
back X Factor.
like, if
We're
and Freddie
bringing that
Cosmo
back.
are going against each other, and you pass him while doing a 3-wheel, I think that's like an automatic win. Like championship right there. Like fucking.
Oh well, so every time we 3-wheel, all we're doing is double pressing the gas, and it just pops a wheelie like Cruising USA. That's
I was just saying, dude, just like
front
fucking
wheels off.
Cruising USA. Like that's how you used to do it.
Yeah, see, Chelsea's an old guy too. That's just we're all old here.
That's
now.
it, dude.
Brian
and if
just
you're in drift and you turn and do
his-
it goes on 2 wheels this way.
Yeah, I saw Brian in the back, like, oh my god, because we talk about this.
Yeah,
that's for those who don't know, Cruising USA is an old arcade game where you drive, a wide variety of vehicles, from pickups to Vipers and whatever. But if you double tap the gas, the car automatically pops a wheelie. And if you double tap the gas when turning, the car goes on 2 wheels, and you make like super tight corners. And it's just funny because like as soon as you said that, like, you just do that. I was like, oh, okay, it makes total sense.
Dude,
Yeah, that's the only type of sim drifting I do, is just double pressing the gas.
Just Cruising USA in a taxi cab.
That's
Crazy
it.
Taxi.
Best
Cruising
simulator.
USA.
Oh, Crazy Taxi was
Dude,
good.
Those are the 2 go-to sims that Chelsea uses nowadays. Dude, I don't doubt that.
But yeah, the reason with the wheelie thing is just strictly to transfer weight. That's all. It's
But
those cars particularly work good with that type of scenario.
You take advantage from not dragging the other tire. Like usually when one tire is steering the other one, if it's not exactly parallel, it kind of like drags a little bit.
Something like that.
Something like that, I don't know what I'm talking about. I just kind of like figuring out. It just seemed like when the cars are on one wheel, it's like the turning is more sharper. I don't know what it is. Like it's just more. It's like it's on rails.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that. Like I always like equate it to like hanging 10, right? Because you're like out on the wall or whatever, and you're max throttle and you're max steering input, and you're just kind of cruising like you're riding a wave kind of thing.
Interesting.
Dang. See, that's science, dude. Science. Isn't that crazy to think that this is where drifting is now?
Yeah, I mean, like, what a time to be drifting. Actually, what a time to not be drifting, Chelsea.
Quitter.
I do plenty of
You're a
drifting,
quitter, dude.
Come
You're
on.
a quitter.
No, actually, yeah, we saw you. What place you finished at the LC competition?
I think Sam wants to say something to Chelsea real quick. Why are you such a quitter, you mother... Listen, I thought you were going to stick around forever, and you go out there and you quit. What the hell's wrong with you, you bozo?
Sam,
you dumbass.
Sam,
Chelsea's a dumbass.
Sam, don't be rude to Chelsea.
Oh.
Come on.
Oh, well, what? Can I ask him a question?
Yeah, Virtual Sam's going to ask you a question, Chelsea. Please don't laugh at him. We know he's a special boy, but let's take him seriously for a moment.
All right, Chelsea, I've been waiting to ask you this for a long time, you nerd. You freaking nerd. If you had 50 hot dogs, all right, sitting in front of you right now on that little white desk you're sitting at, how many can you jam in your mouth at one time?
It's tough. Maybe it depends on if there's a motivating factor or not. I'd jam one in your mouth right now, dude. Lawn dart.
Oh, you know what? Screw you. Screw you. I knew I didn't like you for a reason.
Virtual Sam, please.
You got like a little
Oh
Vin
my
Diesel
God,
thing
Sam.
going on
Oh
here
my
with the
God,
wrench.
Sam. That was... Sorry, this is AI Sam, okay? We've been trying to get this thing figured out. Paco's been programming.
I spent 35 minutes programming Virtual Sam. It's like a full recreation.
He's still not perfect. He's still not perfect.
I mean, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah, AI needs some work.
exactly. But yeah, excuse his manners.
about
We
that.
saw him.
Funny hot dog story. I'll give you a hot dog story.
Let's lay it on us,
We're
dude.
ready for-
Lay it on my chest.
Back in 2006 or 7, there was a D1 event in New Jersey, and Nomu Ken was there. And we were cooking hot dogs and stuff. And he came over, and he was like, "Oh, hot dog, hot dog."
Hot dog.
And I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, actually, it wasn't even me. It was my friend. I can't take ownership of it. He was like, "How many hot dogs to drive your car?" And he's like, two hot dogs. So we give him 2 hot dogs. And we're like, start walking over to his car. But he just didn't understand us. He just wanted 2 hot dogs. And we're like trying to cram ourselves in his car and stuff.
Dude, hot dogs are the universal currency. I don't care what anybody says. You can always barter with a hot dog. That's why we keep hot dogs in the office now. We keep hot dogs. We got SpaghettiOs. We keep everything here as a bartering device. Because when the world ends, money doesn't matter. Glizzies and canned SpaghettiOs is the only thing that's going to get people by.
Oh
Dude, Chelsea.
Wow.
That's a cool drifting story,
Why
dude.
are you holding up? Why are you holding up? That's a great
Drifting
story.
doesn't suck for you guys that don't know that. It
doesn't.
suck.
It doesn't.
Especially now when you quit too. So now what are you gonna do? Flip burgers somewhere? Or what's your life like?
Can
dude?
we go
Eat
there?
hot dogs, dude.
Can we go there? All right, let's go there.
Let's
Chelsea.
go there. I'm
What-
ready to go
Let's
there.
go.
So what happened? Like, you are on the top of the world.
Dude.
You're basically the highest paid drifter.
With the biggest pipe, you're out there winning.
I don't know
dude.
about that. We're not talking about finances.
Hold on. Just follow. You know, highest paid drifter. You know, you have all the supermodels just looking at you.
Cars
like,
lined up.
One.
You know?
One
you-
supermodel.
Chelsea.
No,
Yep. She's the overlord.
Chelsea is like, exactly. She's taking care of you, so you don't go in the claws.
Yeah, you don't take the bait. So
of
she's
those-
over there, and she's like,
those
"Get outta
broads
here,
from
bro."
hell.
She's like, no.
Yeah.
He has it all.
But you have everything, you know, like you're, elbow to elbow with
Vin Diesel. You're elbow to elbow with
Elon Musk.
Elon Mustard.
Everybody just
Wants to be Chelsea DeNofa.
Everybody wants to be Chelsea DeNofa, and not even a week after, Chelsea's like, I don't want this.
No, he quits at Irwindale.
That's
I
Right-
quit before.
The day before Irwindale, he's like, puts out this depressive presser about, hey guys, this is it. I'm hanging it up. I'm leading the points right now. I'm just I'm wrapping this thing up. We're done.
but I thought that was he's just being, facetious. He's just like trying to joke.
I don't think I'm that kind of person.
No.
Really.
You know,
Really?
I know what Chelsea did. Chelsea
I
pulled
don't really bullshit.
Chelsea pulled an Irwindale at Irwindale, right? Irwindale said they were going to quit over and over and over. So what better
That's right.
time than Chelsea to be a Irwindale at a Irwindale?
The Irwindale at Irwindale.
Yep.
I've been bought out. They're going to turn me into a mall.
Yeah, you're done.
I mean, you're built basically like a shopping strip.
Yep, that's true.
So
yeah, you go out there last round. You announce you're retiring, which was a shock to begin with because you're killing it. You've been killing it for a very long time. Obviously, you're leading the points. What made you decide that this is it? Because you could have lost the championship too. You could have lost it, but you put that pressure on yourself, and you dropped the mic and you walked away. What? Hit me with it, dude. Give me one good freaking reason.
Well, so I did it early before the event because I didn't want people to think that I did it because of what happened at the event, because I didn't truly know what was going to happen, right?
that's smart.
So I didn't want it to be like he won and he's leaving, so he's leaving because he won the championship, or I didn't want to lose or have somebody tell me to pack my shit in the trailer or something, and then have that be the reason why I'm leaving.
Dude.
You know, like I wanted it to be something that was like, I'm leaving regardless of what happens this weekend. I'm going to go have fun and hopefully win a championship, and then, you know, see how it goes from there. Because for me, it was like, I needed to step back from Formula D and take a break from it. I mean, I love Formula Drift, and I think that drifting is where it is today because of Formula Drift.
Agreed.
But for me, when I'm in it, like I'm in it 100%. I can't be doing other things. Like the opportunity cost of Formula D for me is like my whole life. I live it.
Yep.
I do it. And I kind of stay in my lane building that, right? So like, for drifting, for myself, and for everything that I've been building, I wanted to step back and see some things from the outside, for multiple reasons. But yeah, I mean, it's actually been really cool to see it from the outside. I have a completely different viewpoint of Formula Drift and drifting as a whole in just the last 6 months. Okay. It's been wild.
Well, let's tap into that, right? Because you said there's a few reasons that made you. What are some of the reasons?
Just diving in.
Okay, I told you, dude. This is the Chelsea DeNofa tell-all story, dude. We went back to your mom shot you out of her womb into landing in a car bed. We're going through this whole thing, brother.
I never even had a car bed as a kid. I was deprived.
What kind of childhood do you have? now you're giving cars to your grandma. Now you're living it. But why? Why did you do this?
So one major reason was I still to this day, and again, I really want to make this preface that I'm not saying FD is wrong or anything, but I feel like I'm more valuable to drifting outside of Formula Drift. And I feel like for me, like my style, my wants, my needs, and what I like about drifting, what I love about drifting is not really shown in FD, because a lot of the tracks are 2 or 3 turns. We've been going to the same tracks for a really long time. I've been really involved in it for a very long time. I've been in one lane, like I was saying, trying to win a championship, being focused on things. I feel like the minute it starts to become a championship, especially now with how competitive Formula D is, it just changes like everyone's outlook. You know, it changes why you're there. And maybe it doesn't change because some people have been there the whole time to win, and regardless of what it takes or whatever it needs to be or how hard they want to drive or whatever the case is. But for me, it's always been like, I want to elevate to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. And I realize like when you're in a championship setting, like that's not how you win a championship. You know, like you go and drive one event and whatever, you drive crazy. It could work, it could not, it's whatever. But when you have a whole championship and every little thing matters to the points, all of the drivers, all the teams, everybody involved has a different mindset than what drifting is to me.
So you as a person just wasn't getting your fulfillment on where you're at, and it was making you happy, maybe making you happy, or you just didn't feel content?
Well, like I love drifting. I think that drifting is like the whole thing is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. I've done so many things, met so many people, and like been able to have so much opportunity because of drifting. But like I said, like for me, I was not, like you said, I was not fulfilled. Like I decided after Jersey last year that like I was I'd talked about it with Vaughn years beforehand, and like it just wasn't time yet. But I was letting him know that I was feeling that a little bit, and I was like, I think we can do it and make it happen, and I could do drifting and all the drifting I would like to do and see and grow it and kind of have fulfillment in that, and not driving Formula D. Like, and that was kind of the thought process. And then I got myself another 2 years of that by being like, well, I'll never get to drive with all these drivers 8 times a year and hang out with them and enjoy it if I don't drive Formula D, right? So that's a big thing, like being able to drive with those people all the time. Some of the best drivers in the world. I mean, basically all the best drivers in the world at this point, So how do I do that if I leave FD? Well, that sucks. I'd rather drive with them. So that's what kept me a couple more years, was like, I get to go drive with Matt. I get to go drive with Vaughn, James, all these people. Like, when are you ever going to get all of them together to go drive an event that's not FD? Like, there's got to be some skin in the game. So that kept me going for a little while. And then me being my normal over-analyzing self, kind of just talked myself out of that too, because it was like, well, everybody's only here to win. You get people in practice doing silly stuff, and everybody's struggling to get the best lap, and however they can win, they're going to win. And for me, it was like, man, like I go into a tandem battle and I'm like, okay, you need to be on this guy's door the entire time because he could be on your door the entire time. That's a whole tandem battle to me. Like, that's it. There's no like, do this, do that, whatever. It's, I need to be on that guy's door because he could possibly be on my door. And then in the lead run, I need to wow these guys watching.
Yeah, you've always seemed to be an honest and have an on-off switch, right? It's either you're in competition or you're not. You don't have this like weird, crazy strategy stuff that you like doing. You're just a straight up driver, right? That's kind of how you've always driven, and you've even talked about that a lot in the past. And you did bring something up there, like, right, you brought up the, you wanted to have that fulfillment in drifting and like doing these other events and doing these other things. I'm just curious, do you think there's other people that feel that same way? Just out of curiosity.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I think that there is very fulfilling thing in Formula D. Like
dude, I'll be real. I miss
myself
it. I'll be honest. I do miss it. I wish I would have stayed in it longer. I felt like I got in it too early. There's still a part of me that's like, man, I miss this. I do this. But I like, some of these guys like you where it's like, man, I've done it. Like, do you think there is that feeling? I don't know. I just asked that because I hope it does still. I hope FD still fulfills the fun and the enjoyment and the desire that drivers want. And it seems like it does. And I just don't know if there's people that could look up to Chelsea and be like, dude, he did it. Because right now you're doing something. I don't know if you realize this. You're doing something that people who've been in a series for a long time say, well, look what Chelsea has done, right? And there's a lot of people and ambassadors in motorsports that are examples of like, well, if this guy did it, maybe that might be an opportunity. You could look at LZ with content and being able to build a whole brand without even competing in a series to now creating something and then going to the series. Or Vaughn stepping away from drifting full-time, but still running drifting and now doing all this short course stuff. It's like you're essentially setting a path. And we had this discussion last week, Paco, about we're in a unique phase of motorsports or drifting since it is still young. FD's only been around for 20 years. That now we have this like legacy drift group, right? And you're part of that. But the thing is as we get older, this new group is coming in. When you started, there was really no old group, right? There was really no people who've done it. What you are from when you're the old guy, right? So you kind of are paving the path of what does this life expectancy look like, or the path that we go down as a driver that goes to grassroots, goes from pro. Where do you go from there? Some people don't even know because not many people have done it. They're still young.
Well, I think too, like it's hard to pivot out of the FD thing, because there is like, it is the best platform. Yep. Like you cannot argue that platform is not the biggest and gives you the most opportunity to be successful. Like for me, the success is just not measured in like what it is in that aspect. Like personally, like I get it. Like I told you a million times, FD's huge. It's growing. Like it's so cool to sit now, not be at an event and see how many people are there and see their attitudes. Cause when I'm at the track, I'm normally just like, go, win, focus on driving, have fun. And then that's kind of it. But the drifting is growing massively. Right. So why would you pull out of something that is still growing and you're a part of, and maybe you're one of the top guys in that, or you're not, like whatever, it doesn't really matter. If you're one of those 40 people at FD, like you're one of 40 people in the world that are doing it,
It's
right?
insane.
And it does have benefits to it. So like, why step back? For me, the answer was, I think there's more to drifting than Formula D. I think drifting deserves to have somebody who loves drifting and has some sort of capability to grow it outside of Formula D. And I feel like that's kind of where I would like to go and do something to help that and find out what that next thing is. Do I know what that is? Maybe I'm trying to find out what that is right now, like so that I have something to offer and I can grow what I'm doing and be the front of that,
So you said something just a moment ago that I want to bring up. You said now being on the outside, you're seeing it differently. What are some things that you're seeing differently from being outside of FD?
Yeah, so like I was saying, I said a few times, like it's a focus game, a mental game, and making sure you're able to drive the best you can when you're at the track, right? So when you're riding your bike to the grid or when you're doing whatever, like you're not absorbing what's going on around you. You're like, I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to go do what I need to do. And then by the end of the event, I'm so smoked. I'm tired. I'm like, again, I just need to decompress, have a meeting, get this conversation off my chest, and that's it. There's not a lot of like seeing it from the outside. And like, since I was 25 years old, I've been driving FD and even longer, 23, I guess. And I haven't had that. I've never missed an event, never watched an event. Outside of watching it to do a dissecting drift video or something, I don't even watch it because I lived it and I'm ready to go on to the next thing. So for me, it's like, I've noticed the fans, the interaction was more negative. I've noticed what drifting looked like to the normal person from the outside. I've noticed what it looks like from the person who loves drifting but doesn't drive Formula Drift. I've noticed it from the old guy at the skate park that used to drift, that now doesn't, but still loves to watch it. I see all of that happening internationally. I'm paying attention to what people are doing and saying and what they like about it, what they don't. It's like, this is like a sport that I'm super involved in. Like I wouldn't say it's my sport, but I feel like it is mine because I've dedicated my life to it, not as in I have ownership, but I mean like an involvement.
Yep.
And it's just been really eye-opening. Like drifting is way, way bigger than people make it. It is insane. Like most of what I've seen is the people holding drifting back. Like I see people talking negative or not focusing on what needs to be focused on and kind of saying negative things or not supporting it in good ways. And I've never noticed that before. Like for me, it's always been, oh, it's working. It's good. We have the budget to do what we need to do. We're building this car. We've done these upgrades, the sick, like shit, I blew a motor or shit, I did this. That sucks, but we're going to make it better. And then and now I'm like, whoa, drifting is huge, dude.
Yeah.
This shit is gonna take over.
God, I'm so glad you said
crazy.
that. I'm so glad you said that. I am so glad.
It's crazy to think about this because, like, you would imagine while you're inside, you will notice all these things even more. But when you're inside in the position that you were, you're so focused.
Tunnel vision.
Like you have eyes on the prize. Because we've been doing this. I mean, you've been doing, actual competitive drifting for a while. I've been following competitive drifting for as long as you've been competing. Mm-hmm. Been doing Driftcast. And we notice these things. Like, that's our bread and butter. Like, every day we're like, we have to ban this guy from the group because he's just being an asshole.
And also, you see the discussion board on Facebook. Like, you're actually active in there, but you see that's a pool of every type of the most diehard drift fans you'll see. But you see how their brains relay to their fingertips when they write this crazy message or a positive message or feedback or any of that.
But it's interesting to think because, like, I really never thought that, like, the people who are so inside actually
miss the outside,
missing the outside part, and that's very interesting, especially because we've seen you recently being very, very active, kind of like voicing your opinion on, like, for example, what could be done better, what can be like from a spectator point of view. Like you're not competing, but you're still in it. You know, you're still being active, commenting about Formula Drift. You're going to other events, but I just think it's interesting to see your perspective about Formula Drift, because yeah, we know you're part of drifting. You always will be. I foresee, you know, in my little crystal balls, I foresee a future.
Show them both of the crystal balls.
A future Chelsea DeNofa drifting event competition kind of thing, like his own series. But what do I know? But I don't know. Like I feel like remember when Tony Angelo became a judge in Formula Drift?
Yeah.
After being a driver, like I kind of have a feeling like, do you ever thought of maybe asking Formula Drift if you wanted to be a judge? Because I kind of feel like you have a good eye.
And do you feel like FD needs that?
And it seems like, yeah.
Hit me with it, dude.
Come on.
You told me that this is going to be no holds bar, and I just want to be open and honest.
No, it's fine.
And I want you to be
told
wrong.
me to make it no holds
Let's
bar.
fuck-
And I
let's
said,
go,
no worries.
baby.
That's easy.
Let's go, baby.
I love that. I love that.
Fire it.
So I have no interest in being a judge in Formula Drift.
Or any other
I'm
competition.
not ready. I'm not ready for that. I think I could jump in and judge like other little events here and there. I have done it in the past, but I'm kind of a different judge. Like I go into those events and I go up to the line and I talk to every single driver and I help them be better, you know, and help them improve. And then I judge the event, you know? So like I'm trying to teach them to be better and help them with little things with setup and things of that nature. Like I'm good with that stuff. In the Formula D, like, it's just like too difficult to judge at this point. Like, and it would be too hard for me to make calls because I view things so different than so many people do because I'm so involved and know every little movement of every little car and all these little things. And it just kind of like, it's just a separation, but that's why there's 3 judges too, you know, like I feel like, also, I'm not ready to have everybody hate me and send me death letters and be pissed off at everything I do.
But I will say that do you feel you knowing those things would actually make you a good judge, right? Because you know this, you know that, you know how things work in certain situations, you know,
Sure.
from like, do you feel that? Because
Sure.
once again, FD judges are all great. They're great, right? They have the hardest job there all weekend. I have to take that position is incredibly hard. And like obviously like Ryan Lontaine stepping away. Ryan Lontaine was kind of a driver. You know, he did some driving back in the day and things like that. Do you feel
He's a good driver too, for sure.
Yeah, and do you feel having that driver aspect in the judging stand would make things different for the drivers as they have somebody that understands what's relating on track? I'm just curious.
I think so, but my problem is, again, really wanting to step back and get away from it so that I can assess what is best for me and what I love about drifting.
For sure.
So for me, kind of like jumping right into a judging scenario or even sometime in the near future, to me, doesn't really make sense for what I have. I mean, it might sound selfish,
Dude,
but I
it's your
think
time.
that
It's your time. You do
I
whatever
think
you
that
want.
the judges that they have right now are the best judges that they're going to have.
Awesome.
I believe that we're in a weird pivot right now because the judges are working within a box that's been created by previous. And now that they're able to judge some events and figure some things out, I think that the bubble has been popped and we're going to start seeing some really good things in the future, I believe. I think that
I had the same belief.
you know, all 3 judges that they are really, really good at their job. They really, really love drifting.
Yes.
And I think that you'll see some things start changing, whether it's on paper or physically the judging. And I think we've already kind of seen that, especially with the last round where everybody was in uproar. But realistically, I feel like that was the bubble popping, and we're going to start getting into some really serious shit here.
So
Good things, not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you said that you feel like the judges are basically the best at it at what they are right now. I mean, probably, you know, you're being paid by Big Drift money too to say such thing.
Edible arrangements
Edible arrangements coming to you and all that, yeah. But Because I agree. I feel like judging has been pretty good. I've been watching and I've been kind of like, oh, this is my call. Oh, okay, it didn't go my way, but I can see why they went that way. You know, like it's not like what the hell. And only the times where there's been like what the hell moments when there's the explanation of exactly why they ruled that way is like, oh, okay, it makes perfect sense. Now, like, and I get it. I feel, and I think a lot of people feels this, there is like a disconnect on the understanding on the rules and, you know, from the fans in what's being broadcasted, right? Like, I think that's the main reason why people don't understand, you know, like the rules. They get mad at the judges because, why do you do that? Like, you know, last year they did something completely different. Turns out, you know, this year there's a new rule, there's a change, there's like, what do you think needs to be done to like kind of like make that gap between the fans not understanding the rules and
making it more clear or transparent for them to understand?
Like, you know what I mean? Like I just feel like from a driver, ex-driver now that now you're seeing things from the outside, you probably have a very interesting point of view about this, because the fact that you said that you think judging is great right now, it speaks volumes, because I think like a lot of people right now thinks it's the worst, it's just as bad as it's been, you know, it's just so. What do you think needs to be done?
I'll let Chelsea go first, and then
I'm asking him.
Yeah. I'm just saying because I have a topic on that.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Chelsea.
Perfect. I think it's a tough call. I think that there's a lot of variables here. I think that the way the cars are set up, how they're being driven, everybody's fear of the other person or other driver they're competing against magically putting more grip in their car, making it faster, and they're doing the same thing. And now the judges have to judge a run. And I think to me, the biggest problem currently is that the driving is just not clean enough. Like they're picking winners off who makes the least mistakes, right? And I feel like that's something that is not what drifting is about. Like drifting is about who was radder than the other person more than the other way around. And I feel like, I'm not saying that the drivers have gotten worse at all. I feel like they're getting better because they're adapting to everything that's going on, and everybody's, you know, using every inch of education and all of their driving skill. But I just think that there's just so many little mistakes that are done because the setup was wrong, over gripped, you know, like track changes, all this stuff. And it all leads back to kind of the same thing. It makes the judging really, really hard. Like, you know, like I think it should be done off of who has a better run, and it's simple and it's cut and dry and like that's it. But the problem is the drivers, and what's happening is making it more difficult for the judges to do their job, right? Because like, I mean, I remember even just 4 or 5 years ago, you know, the show being a little bit quicker, less mistakes being made, tandem battles being closer, like whatever was going on in the last, like, let's say 3 or 4 years has, I feel like, had a negative effect on how good the driving is. You know, I don't have the answer outside of the cars are getting really gripped up and all that. I know that I've driven with almost all the drivers outside of FD's scenario, and we always are banging doors, driving crazy, having fun, you know, so I'm a little confused at what that works out. I'm sure you guys may have saw my post the other day, kind of trying to get everybody's understanding on it, because I want to see everyone's perspective, right? Like I was saying, I'm on the outside now.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't have made that post if I was driving FD still.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a post stabbing at FD. I'm just how do we improve this? We got to improve it. It's not sustainable, right? But that goes straight to the judging, is what I mean. Like, I would like to see it judged on who is a better driver rather than this guy made 18 mistakes, this guy made 14 mistakes, and that's why a guy with 14 mistakes won. You know, like that. I watch drifting now, and that's how I feel like it's viewed. Like, the announcers are like, oh, he's on the wall, he's this and that. Jacob's educating people on whatever that he thinks is happening, and
we don't say his name.
You know,
they
make a decision. Okay.
Continue.
Beanie Boy. But whatever.
Continue.
So, but yeah, I just think that I think it's almost too complex, right? I think it needs to be simpler. I think that the drivers, deserve to have something that is understood and clear. But at the same time, it's tough to do that, right? You either have to be, it's split 50-50. You're on the side of, I want a digital readout of what that guy's doing. I want rules that zero him, 50% him, or 100% him for every single thing he does. And I want all this stuff. Or the other end is like, there's 3 judges. It's their job to make that decision. All 3 of them might like total different things. All they have to agree on is what a zero is. And then they judge every event, every run for what it is. We're not going to tell you outside of line, angle, style, or whatever they're doing. We want you to do the baddest shit that you can do out there. And we want you to chase on the door. Like, that's what drifting is. Why are we overcomplicating this? Like, why? Like,
you're not right.
I don't know. I'm going to drive 40 events this year that are not FD, and I'm going to get my door tapped every single run, and I'm going to tap someone else's door every single run. Dudes that are in FD, dudes that aren't in FD, and we're going to finish laps. We're going to do everything and have a blast. Like, the better driver is obvious to the people watching, and that's it.
Very simple. Very simply explained.
But when it comes, when it comes to like a better driver, like the better part, like that's subjective, right? Like that's why there needs to be like, well, but why is that better? You need to be able to explain. Well, this guy was closer.
But the subjective part is the one more time, dude. Like if lead car drives at 40 degrees angle, but has exactly 40 degrees, snappy transitions, fills the line, is on the door. And then they switch, and the other driver's at 60 degrees and like has a bunch of flair and style, misses the line maybe just the slightest bit, but the guy's on the door. You're like, that's a one more time. Like that dude drove hard, had lots of angle and style. It's what drifting is about. The line is good. Everything is good. He was on the door. Like there's little differences. The difference is it's a one more time. Instead of one more time, like I feel like every time I watch it one more time, it's because they're like, oh, this person made a mistake here, and then this person made a mistake here, and we're going to run it again. Like instead of it being like something that's based upon, it's always like a subtraction of skill that is why you win or lose, instead of like being good at drifting. The better driver currently, I feel, is not winning as often as they should.
Do you think there's a line that defines when like that transition happened, when like the judging was more about who was the best, and now who made more mistakes?
Yeah, I feel like the line was probably like 2019-ish, 2020-ish. I feel like a lot of things. The year James left, I feel like whatever that was, that following year might have been the COVID year.
It was.
Maybe that had something to do with it.
So he's going to blame COVID.
COVID caused drifting judging
it's COVID's
problems.
fault.
Yep.
Yeah. There's your.
That's the title. COVID caused drifting judging problems.
Yep.
COVID judging brain. So I don't know if
right.
there's. I do want to say this. To elaborate on what Chelsea said about the drift judges, we do probably have the best set of drifting judges. No offense to any previous drifting judge. Ryan Langton was great, by the way. You have Brian Eggert, who's a triple OG, big daddy, big dog, drifting OG for judging and running events. And then, you still have Robbie and Reese, who are still driving. Robbie competed in Formula Drift, and Reese is a beast as well. So it's like you still have people that are involved on the deepest level of drifting that can still call the shots. I don't think they're doing a bad job. What I think is happening is that I would say this year, and Chelsea, I would love your input, is we've had the most amount of significant changes happen this year, probably more than almost any other year previously. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so, with the qualifying and all those other things happening and some rule changes and whatnot. I think all of the changes were really great.
I think they're great too.
They should be helping this scenario.
Yeah, but now you're getting all the old heads. you're getting all the old heads like, what? I would know qualifying. What the seating bracket? What this? Oh, Matt Field kind of straightened out.
Qualifying is
it's the best thing ever.
Ever happened.
Yep. Yeah. So I think, and this is my excuse.
People will find something to complain about. Like that's just
of course.
This is
what we talked about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. But this is my excuse.
It's like, if you're gonna be a dick about it, don't run your mouth unless you have something to prove.
Yeah.
Like you have nothing to prove, you're just running your mouth.
Yep. Well, this is my excuse for the judging. For anybody who says, "Oh, that bad call judging." I think the judges are doing great things, but I also think just with these new changes, people haven't seen it yet. They haven't experienced yet. The audience is still kind of learning how the whole process works. So there's like a shakeout period, of course. We've only had 2 events. Everybody said FD Long Beach had some of the best judging ever, right? They said it was great. Everything seemed good. And then Atlanta, everybody was like, what the hell's happened? Well, it's like, if you watch FD Long Beach, you have nothing to compare that round 2 prior, right? So it's all new and exciting. You have no data on how this is going to work. But now that you've seen Long Beach going into Atlanta, now you can go back and compare the differences. Well, why did, Turek and Shanahan have a one more time or, a rebound?
But it's also
why did that not happen? This is all just still rolling out and it's still all new. Just let it play out. Sit back, watch it, let it play out, and you will see what will happen at the end. But right now we're calling the shots too early without seeing enough.
Plus, it's such a different track. Also, like the judging is gonna be relatively different. Like it's understandable that there's gonna be different things happening. The round itself, I mean, there was a lot of weird calls for sure. That as soon as there was like some further explanation, everything made sense. But it's just kind of like I was saying. It's just like I feel like once people gets mad and I throws like fucking this, blah blah blah, I'm getting out. Then they miss the explanation that the judges give, and at that point it just becomes like, oh, my favorite driver didn't win, and that's enough reason for me to be mad.
Yeah, I think too, like there's so many people that are involved with drifting and watching Formula D now that really don't know the details of anything, and they're just not educated, and I think we could do a better job of educating them. I think that's the job as drivers rather than, especially me stepping back and looking at it. Like the job of the drivers too is like, obviously do what you got to do, but like, be vocal about the things that are going on, like positive wise, the things that are greatness and the things that are helping you improve, like instead of just doing I was guilty to it, just staying in the lane and doing my thing, and judges make a bad call and I make a post about it and it's like bad, I'm being negative about it. I think there's ways to improve that and better routes to do it. I think that it's, the judging really is, like I said, I think we're going somewhere that's great. I think the last round, maybe for some people wasn't great. They didn't want to believe in what was happening. They wanted to be negative about it. They wanted to be an Adam LZ fan or a Rome fan or whatever the case wanted to be. But I think it's pretty obvious now that those people have been made, those situations, let's say, have been made examples of, and the judges are not going to take people not trying to finish the lap. They're not going to take something that looks like a flop. They're not going to do any of that. Everybody in the drivers meeting or the next event, no one is not going to stay on throttle and try to do that because they know they're going to get a 0. I think that's the greatest thing.
Setting an example, right? Setting an example.
Yeah, and the way the rule book is written, it could go either way with that. But now it doesn't really matter. It's your job to go there and appease the judges, right? If you want to win the event and you want to have the best odds to win, you got to do what those 3 people tell you to do. I'm not saying I always did that. Most of the time I ignored what they were doing. And that's why it took me so long to win a championship.
Yeah.
But I chose to do that, know, and I knew what I was getting myself into.
So putting you in the hot seat, you do agree with the Matt Field LZ call?
I do, especially given what they're trying to portray right now and what their goal is. Most people watching didn't go to the driver's meeting where they explained that if there was contact, that you need to try to stay in it and try to finish the lap. And that's what you guys are told to do. On the flip side, not to play both sides of it, but I've lost so many battles in the past that have been based upon me trying to continue and maybe not looking perfect and then losing because they didn't think the hit was hard enough or whatever to cause how I finished the lap, you know? So I get the shutdown thing and be like, yo, this dude hit me, whatever the case is. Like, I'm done. I'm going to put it in their hands and let them decide, because if I keep driving and make a mistake, I could do that. But to me, it's always been the best odds are to try to keep going. For me personally, I can't not keep going, because then I'm going to be like, oh, what would have happened? I probably could have pulled that off. Would have been sick if I kicked his ass and he hit me and they should have called it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so I'm on an understanding of why Adam did that, especially at such a difficult part of the track that's super overlooked by everyone. That is the hardest part of that track. And it's like, looks like a little transition and to go down the hill, but it's off camber to downhill. You have to upshift. Your car doesn't even have enough momentum to get that upshift. So you're forcing the upshift in the middle of a transition and someone hits you in that. I don't know what really happened. For all I know, Matt could have hit him while he was shifting and it knocked it out of gear and he couldn't even keep going anyway. I don't know. But like from my standpoint, I'm like, you got to try to keep going. If you can't keep going and it goes into the judge's hands, then it's their decision, and what they're going to say is what it is.
See, like, that's one of the things that I had like a long, I would say 4 days of arguing with people on the board. The whole situation with like staying on throttle after you're being hit. A lot of people basically saying like, oh, but if you stay on throttle, you're gonna like wreck your car and putting yourself in danger. And like, I think that a lot of people don't understand what like the whole concept of staying on throttle means. That doesn't mean like, oh, I'm going sideways, I'm gonna dart my car into the wall, because like that's not what it means. It just means to try to keep drifting until it's obvious that it's not you the one who stopped drifting, that it's the contact made you spin, or the contact made you,
or the car broke, or whatever the case is.
But
right?
like a lot of people still
this was a nudge and a shutdown, and the Rome thing was exactly the same. Like, I look at the Rome call like, yo, sure, like he may have got hit, but he was complaining about the front of his car being broken, and Odie didn't touch the front of his car, only the back. And it wasn't, to me, I mean, obviously I'm not a judge and I'm just watching. To me, the hit wasn't hard enough to just try to let off the gas and purposely try to shoot straight through the kitty litter. Yeah. Like, you could have made any attempt to keep going and you would have won, because you would have probably gone 2 or 3 tires off. Because of his hit, they would have deemed it that, and then the whole rest of your run would have been sloppy. But hey, you probably would have won.
Yeah, most likely.
But if you stop drifting, I mean, knowing the judges now personally, if you stop drifting, they're gonna be like, that dude's a bitch. He's getting a 0.
I love this so much. I love this so much. And I know, Chelsea, I know it's getting late by you, so we're just a few more minutes and we'll send you out of here. So if you got like another...
You're good. I've only been out for like 40 hours driving back in Canada. So perfect. It's fine.
Dude, by the way, we can... Let's touch on that. Because by the way, thank you for all just being open and honest about how you feel about everything. And I think this is what important is about Driftcast is this is what we like, right? The truth, the honesty, but being transparent enough that if there's no sensitive topics here, everything that we're including and saying is literally just to get it out there with no bias, being true to it, but eventually making the sport better longer term. And I think you've nailed everything on the head with everything that you said, with just don't flop, don't pull a Ronaldo, go out there and send it. The judges are intelligent enough to tell what's capable of what you're able to do in that car with that type of hit. Yeah, this is exactly the type of conversation we had. So thank you.
Which, by the way, I think it's a good thing to clarify that nobody's saying that whoever stopped drifting did it as in like, I got hurt. It's just it was like the standard. It's a natural reaction as well. Yeah. Like it's very like, oh shit, I got hit. Oh, let me stop. It's things happen in a fraction of a second. I mean, Chelsea, you've been wheeling for like so many years, like 3.5 years of competitive drifting. You know what it's like to have to make decisions in a fraction of a second, and it's not always the right decision. I bet.
No, certainly not.
Yeah.
How many times I've been like, oh, I just blew that, and then you're like chasing your ass the rest of the run to try to make anything of it. You know.
But you're not. But you're not giving up.
No, definitely not. I mean, I've finished laps with no wheels on my cars before, just driving on the brake rotors.
And
I think that's probably too much, but I don't know. I'm rocking to the wheels.
You can argue that you didn't know.
But I'm also going to say that you're probably on the receiving end of like, how the hell did I win that? I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to take it. So there's some times where you ate shit, and there's
for
sometimes
sure. I have texted the judges many times. Thank you.
Like
because I'm like, I have no idea what you saw, but I'm glad I won.
So sometimes,
I'm also like, there's plenty of times I've lost, and I'm like, I cannot even remotely wrap my head around this. So, like I always say, when it comes down to something like the Adam and Matt thing, you win some, you lose some. Unfortunately, it sucks when it's in the first battle of the weekend or whatever the case is. That's the hardest pill to swallow. But in this season, it will be given back to him at some point. Not by him saying he needs it and deserves it, but because it just happens that way. Yeah. That's the judge sport thing, dude.
Yeah. And I think there's no doubt from the fans and the audience that Adam really earned himself that spot. At the beginning he was all like, oh, he's an influencer. He's saying because it's money and YouTube, but he proved that he can drive. He's
100%.
Proven, he finished like top, in the top 10. And he's, we've seen how even James Dean struggled to adapt to the Mustang. So when we see Adam adapting to the Mustang, like struggling as well, it's understandable. It's not like.
Well, I mean, like I'll put something into perspective with you. Adam won an event in less events than it took me to win an event, and I had been drifting for 10 more years than him at the time.
There you go.
Yep.
But he's just a YouTuber. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, like I always say, it's the same thing. It's like the backwardsness of that. Like I'm somebody who's been racing and a race car driver and was a professional race car driver before he did any YouTube stuff, right? So like my YouTube struggles. Right?
Yeah.
It goes the other way for him. He was really successful at YouTube, built a whole business out of it, goes to drifting, and his drifting struggles. Like people are like, oh, like he's just a YouTuber. He's just this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, it's really not that much different.
No,
like it's the same thing. It's just like the direction of how you did it. And like I drive with Adam all the time, dude. I've been driving with him at his place and been like, he's better than me today. Everything we're doing, he's doing better than I am. Yep. And I'm like, I need to turn up because like I don't mess with that.
Yep.
Like
you heard it here.
When you have that realization with people all the time, you're like, damn, you're a real driver. Like you're impressive. Like if I'm chasing you and you're impressing me, like that's pretty solid. So for him to only be drifting for like less than, I don't know, maybe 8 or so years, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks for the invite to that, by the way. We'll show up to the next one. You guys go out there and do drifting. So speaking of that, you just came back from Canada, as you mentioned. You're doing a lot of events outside of Formula Drift. What do you think of these LZ World Tours? How you enjoying them? Is this getting your fix? Is doing these events or?
It's really fun. For me, it's cool to be able to have a place to take some of the cars that I've built that are more for fun and more for proof of concept and stuff than FD. And they're good. The vibe is good. The drivers are all good. It's been really cool to see a lot of those guys like elevate to something that is like of a pro level. The last event I went to in Canada, the track was pretty simple, but it wasn't small. It was pretty big. The speeds were pretty adequate, like in terms of things like, I mean, my car was struggling. I could have used another 100 or so horsepower for how big the track was. But I think it's just a different outlook. Like the vibe is good. The announcing is fun and lighthearted. And the fans like just have a total different aspect of it. They're like, it almost doesn't matter who wins, right? It's almost like there is a winner. Obviously, I was able to win, but like everybody won. Like everybody did 50, 60, 70 laps.
Awesome.
Everybody drove with each driver. Everybody got the challenges of different things, meeting a ton of different fans, and it's a competition, but it's and we're all competitive and wanting to win. I was going through the pits laughing because everyone's changing gears and their quick change and like turning the power up, blowing turbos, like all this crazy shit is happening. Yeah. And I'm just like, I think I changed tires one time all weekend. It's like, I was like, I'm just having fun, dude.
Hell yeah.
Like, it was good. Adam puts on a good event.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to go to LC Fest in California a few months ago. Took Dustin Farrell. He's driving for 2F Performance, and he lost in the first round. It was a very tight call, but at the end of the day, it was a great event. It was so much fun. It was like T-Pain was driving. T-Pain won his first battle, which it's fun.
Sick.
And he was like the most excited. He was like giggling like a little girl, like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it won!"
Yeah,
it was
he
great.
loves drifting. Dude, it's so amazing
cool.
to be
He's
around
having
that
so
vibe
much fun.
for sure.
And that's one of the things that I noticed. Like everybody's having fun. People are switching cars. Like Hurt was driving
Luke
Fink's Corvette at some point. Like there's no real rules. It's just like let's just have fun and still have a competition. And it was a great event.
Yeah.
I think it's really good too, because like with the FD stuff, or let me just say it, in competitions in general, for the most part, like wherever you go, the rules, I'm not saying are bad. They need to be there and they need to exist. But when it's not a championship and it's just one event at a time, the flexibility opens up a lot, right? Because you're like, it's all about just being able to do the next battle. Like it's not about like some strict rules. If you don't pull up to the line here and don't do that, which is obviously needed when it's at a massive professional level. But when it's more of a fun thing where we're focused on the competition and the actual, just the battle, everything is just the battle. Yep. The show, the battle, the show, the battle. It's nothing else. Yeah. It's everybody's kind of managing their own thing, doing their thing, pull up. As soon as they go to leave the line, I'm whooping this dude's ass. I'm focused on winning everything. But before that and after that, we're all going to go to dinner tonight. We're going to have a good time. We're doing these cool things. If your car breaks, I'll lend you my car. Yep. And no one cares because like we just want to see the battle,
I have two more questions. We get to fan questions, and I know it's almost past midnight this time. Here's my two questions. I want to start off with the first one. What are 5 events that you have already drove or haven't drove that you think are going to be the biggest, most funnest events for you this year?
Okay, so the events that I think are the most fun that I've driven so far, Drift Appalachia.
They're in chat, by the way. Shout out Drift Appalachia.
I was gonna
it looks
ask
amazing.
about
I want to go do it. Yes, they're in chat. They've been hanging out all night. I saw that, and it looks so sick, and I've been kicking myself in the ass because I'm like, that is
American Toge.
Yeah, that is something, and I'm glad we're touching on this. And I'm actually, you answered the same way that I wanted you to because I saw them in there, and I'm like, it looks so fun. I hope he says it because it is something.
That was what I was gonna ask. So thanks, Chelsea. No questions for you anymore.
So Drift Appalachia. What did you enjoy about that?
Yeah, so the kind of laid back setting with lots of risk, right? So it's not laid back because anybody wants it to be, but it's just because everyone's like, I'm going to turn the laps I need to turn to have fun. I'm going to enjoy it. The risk is really high. I can total my car at any moment. The first time that we did it, the first event we did was like the pilot event, and it was super fast, super sketchy, but everybody just drove within their means, right? Which meant everybody kept their cars kind of free. Everybody kept the tandem a little like respectful space because everybody's kind of like, how's this going to go? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Everyone's having a blast the whole time. Then I skipped the second event and went to the third event, which is on a slower road, a lot more technical. And then is where it all shined. Everyone's cars, they made sure like each person driving had a similar setup. Nobody's car was faster than the other because it was all about, I'm going to lead you down. You can lead me up the mountain, and then we'll do this and switch. And it was all about just getting to drive together as a group and have fun. And like, I haven't been to a drift event in America that's like that in a really long time where like I was setting up a group chat so that we could get everybody together to make sure we were on the same laps so that we could go drive and make sure everything was perfect, because it was like 10 turns back to back dooring each other. And you're like, every turn, you're like, I can't believe this is happening. It's still going well. How is it still doing this well? How have we not crashed yet? Like, and that it's just been a really, really cool thing overall. Plus, we go into the city, and the city is like never seen drifting before. Like, and it's like seeing everybody like eyes wide downtown, thousands of people in this town of only 1,000 people, like just asking questions, being stoked about drifting. Like the vibe is just exactly what drifting should be. It's growing drifting. There's tons of people that have now got into drifting because of this, and it's now another outlet and style of what drifting is, and it's a really cool one, right? Because drifting got so popular because it's cool, right? So this goes right back to the roots of like why this is so cool and why it's so marketable, and why when we post a video or a reel or something of the mountain, it gets 10x what everything else gets, because it's dragging new people into this and like shoving it in their face, you know?
Yeah. Real quick, what was that road that you guys had? Because I mean, obviously you guys had it closed, and also like how cool is it to be drifting in front of a cop car chasing you at the same speeds that you are driving?
Yeah, it was cool. And it's just the same thing. Like the officers that were doing that were just like, this is a new thing. This is awesome. Like they just wanted to be a part of it any way they could be, you know? And they were helping us out all day with the road closure and making sure people weren't doing were doing what they were supposed to do. And yeah, it was just cool. The whole vibe is like that. Like the people that run it are locals, and they're really, really, the people who help us shut down the roads and stuff are stoked about everything. All the locals, like the next step is just finding a way to be able to make it spectator friendly, you know?
Yeah. So going back real quick, I know you got a little time. So Drift Appalachia, what other events? Give me like 3 or 4 more that you're really looking forward to, that you are going to compete in or have already.
Attend.
Where's Chelsea going?
So I think the E-Town Gambler events are really fun. The 235 class specifically. Some of the best battles I've had in a really long time that were at the 235 class. I went last year. So I'd like to do another one of those. Again, same type of thing. It's competition. It's very serious when you leave the line, but it's not serious as soon as you finish the run, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just go back, get your car prepared for the next battle, drive right back down and just hang out with your friends until your battle's ready. It's just good vibes. Plus, E-Town in general just has a like special feeling to it for me, at least, which is cool. And then Grid Life has a couple events this year that are big heaters. Like there's the normal Gingerman, which is sick. Always has a ton of people, lots of spectators, big show, party, all that stuff. But then they have Road America this year, which is gonna be sick. And I'm really excited to get to drive that track. Like such an awesome, like iconic American track, and have some fun there. Plus, same thing, party vibes, music, have fun, festival type thing. You know,
that's the one with Deadmau5, right?
I think they're going. I don't know if they're at Road America or they're at Gingerman, but yeah, I have seen that they're going to be playing, or he's going to be playing.
He's going to be.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm out of touch of the electronic musical stuff.
The Deadmau5 are playing.
Deadmau5 is there.
Deadmau5. Yeah, that's Road America, dude. Like, I mean, that's my favorite DJ. Like,
yeah, he's a stud.
Hands down. So, really, really considering going to Road America for Grid Life, because that just like the track itself is insane.
Yep.
I would love to see how drifters negotiate that track.
Well, they have a really good kart track too.
Remember,
so
cool. By the way,
about.
Chelsea, let's just talk about car tracks. Second gear door bangers aren't cool. We've already talked about that on the internet.
Oh my god!
Come on, dude. Like, brother.
Bro, I'm not going down this road. I'm not going down this road.
I'm kidding.
I'm trying to be positive about
I'm kidding. I'm kidding, dude. That's a joke. That's a joke.
That's a bit.
It's a bit. That was not a joke. That was a stab.
Dude, I saw, by the way, just fun fact, I saw like a paragraph from Chelsea. I'm like, oh, that was a twist of the knife, and I'm so glad everybody Chelsea jumped in there and said something.
Got in there.
But you're doing your job as an
Listen, if there was a kart track championship, I would come back.
Yeah.
If FD did a kart track championship, your boy would be back. I'm ready. Sign me up. Let's go.
So,
On the Fox body.
this is my last question for you, and then we can go to the fan questions.
Yes.
Is the EcoBoost the future?
It's pretty fucking good.
Wow.
So it's it's just so good. It has so much torque, such a huge power band. It's so light. Like, I don't know. So I'm a big SR20 fan.
I was gonna say, is it the new SR20?
Like I've always been.
And this is not a hashtag for
It
that.
is
Like
a
you're being honest and open right now. You're not. This is like.
Oh
This
yeah.
is not like a thanks
totally.
Ford. This
There's
is like
probably other engines that are just like it too. Like Mercedes has a small 4-cylinder turbo. BMW has a small 4-cylinder turbo. They all make very similar power. They're also very, very lightweight. So there's plenty of options. I got into the EcoBoost stuff because at the time I was working heavy with Ford and we were trying to make EcoBoost cool. It is very, very cool. Like that thing has been going 3 years with just a bolt-on turbo at 28 pounds of boost. It's like 400 horsepower, 400 torque, and it has not died until last weekend.
oh no, you murdered it, bro.
I didn't murder it. It's just flat. Like the turbo's smoked, and cylinder 3, I think, maybe has a lightly disturbed ringland or something.
Hey Ford, can you help
But
us
like
out?
that motor had 170,000 miles on it when I put it in the car 3 years ago.
So that wasn't a freshie. For some reason, I thought Ford was like, "Here, Chelsea, whatever you
No.
need." Oh
No, well,
that-
so my
that makes more
freshie
sense.
went wrong,
Right.
and that was my fault. I was too hard on the boost down low because those motors spool turbos like crazy. Like they could make 400 foot-pounds of torque at like 2,500 RPM.
stock bottom end, stock
And-
edge, stock bottom end, stock.
Yeah, everything
rear.
was stock. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I blew the stock motor up immediately because I was too hard on it down low, and I had a voltage problem, and basically flooded the motor with fuel and kicked the rods out of the block. But we put this other motor in, and it's been 400 horsepower for 3 years now, beating the crap out of it, driving all sorts of different competitions, lots of demo laps, ride-alongs, all that stuff, and it's been really great. There probably are other engines out there that are similar to that, like I was saying. But to me, it was like the reason I put that motor in there was because it's the lightest engine for 400 horsepower that's like almost possible, you know, like, and it's not stressed at that much power at all. Like people make 500 plus on the stock engines. So yeah.
What could you pick an EcoBoost up for? Just out of curiosity.
If you want a 2.3 Mustang motor, they're like about 2,500 to $3,000, so a little bit cheaper than a 40-year-old SR that was at the bottom of a river for however long. And then
That's a good point. That's a good point. It's a
Not
30.
wrong.
It's a 30-year-old.
and you
30
yeah.
years newer.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And like since they make 400, like you guys know in stock SR, if you want to make 400, you're doing manifold, turbo, injectors, ECU, like big intercooler, maybe cams. Like you're spending more money than an EcoBoost is to get it to 400 horsepower.
Facts.
You know,
Facts.
and my car is literally just a precision bolt-on turbo that I bought off Craigslist for $800 and put it on there, or Marketplace, not Craigslist, but either way. And it's been on there for 3 years, and it finally shit the bed last weekend.
Good.
Well, time for a new one.
Ready for some questions? It's like literally almost 1
Let's
a.m.
go.
Chelsea's time. So hit him with with some bangers. Chelsea, thank you for coming on, by the way. I hope you've had fun hanging with us.
Yeah. Thanks, dude. Like long time no see. Glad to see you back. And we never left.
I see you guys every once in a while at
Yeah.
SEMA.
Yeah.
Bye kind
Yeah.
of thing.
I have a question from a gentleman, Matthew Sopa Onaropa. Is asking, basically saying, is solid axle like the best thing ever, or what?
What I love about solid axle is that it's so simple, and setting it up is very, very easy. It divides your side grip and your forward grip pretty much completely. So for me to show up at a track I've never driven before, we can usually have the rear end set up in like 3 laps to be happy, and then just play with shock and tire pressure for the rest of the day. I also like how robust it is. Like you can just take a beating. There's no arms. It's pretty much just like takes a lot to wreck it and mess it up. And they're cheap. Like everything's pretty cheap.
Nice.
You get a spool for it for a couple $100, and you get a set of axles for a couple $100 that are meant to run 6-second drag passes, and never change them and just keep driving them.
Downsides of the solid axle, though.
Yeah, it's noisy and rattly, and
that doesn't matter.
I hate sound.
Yeah,
It's too loud.
yeah. I don't
Turn it
know.
down.
I'm sure there are some downsides, but like if I could have put a solid axle in my FD Mustang, I would have done it a while ago.
Easy.
Really?
All right, I got one for you. Here's one quick. Martin Berto, ask Chelsea why he hates Drake.
What the fuck? Why?
Oh, that's a good one.
Why do you hate Drake, dude? What's wrong with you?
He's whack,
BBL,
dude.
what is
He's
it?
got
BBL
no-
Drizzy? BBL Drizzy?
He's a whack rapper that
Oh
was
my
in a Canadian
God.
TV show.
Oh!
Decided he wanted to rap, and then has a ghostwriter doing all of his shit. And you know, in the beginning, when he came out back in the day, I was like, damn, he's just like jocking Lil Wayne's style and feel. And now he just does whatever is going to make money. He's one of the wackest rappers of all
Dude,
time.
Chelsea, dude, shoot a fire mixtape at him. Everybody's going on him right now. BBL Drizzy, Chelsea's coming for your throat, dude.
Yeah.
Good-
Like, is that the
hot
new?
take.
Is that the new internet beef?
I don't know what BBL Drizzy. People talk about it all the time. I don't know what it
Wow.
is yet, though. Here's another one. This is from Daniel Holiday, spelled Hall. Holiday. Backup question is, which state in the USA has the best pizza?
Ooh. That's a good one.
Come on, dude. Don't hold out on us.
I feel like I like different types of pizza. Like, you know, like you go to like Chicago and you're like, oh, I got one slice of Chicago style pizza and it's good or whatever.
Yep.
It's just different.
Yep.
You know, you go to New York and if you get a proper slice, like it doesn't have it's not over greased. You know, it's just a little floppy. Taste is real good. It's got a bit of salt taste to it. Like the bread is the crust is really good usually.
Okay.
I don't know. My favorite pizza spot's in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. It's this tiny little pizza spot, and it's like everyone I've taken there says it's the top few pieces they have ever had in their life. So I'm definitely going Northeast. I don't know that I would say New York has the best pizza. Maybe I haven't had the best there yet, but certainly not California.
Yeah.
Certainly
I
not
believe that.
Washington. Certainly not Oregon.
Fair.
There's some good spots in Florida too, because everyone from New York moved down. You know?
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
I'll be in Pennsylvania in 2 weeks. So I'm going to hit that spot.
Nice.
Do you
I
have
have a question from
I'll send it to you.
From Alec Burner. Hi, Chelsea. I would like to know a good way to recover from a foot injury after jumping off a barrier. Thank you very much.
Woof. Too soon.
Stung
dude.
ya.
Too
Stung
soon.
ya.
Yeah, it's crazy. I rode BMX skateboard my whole life. I was always able to walk home, jump off a fence in Formula D one time, crutches through the airport, dude. It was so bad. I was holding back tears because it was the most painful thing I've ever been in my life.
You went so high on that fence, and then the slanted pavement.
Game over. With race shoes that have no padding. It was
Nope.
like being barefoot.
Yep.
Wrecked.
Real quick, going back to the pizza question, do you like toppings on your pizza or are you just a cheese guy?
So if I'm going to a place and trying the pizza for the first time, I'm very simple, just cheese and pepperoni or just cheese.
Okay.
Like just a very simple pizza, because then I can tell if somebody's pizza is really good or not. When I go back another time, I'll probably add like black olives, some other types of cheese, and like maybe even try one of their like white style pizzas, like a Blanco.
Do you feel that toppings, a large amount of toppings, is actually covering up the bad taste of a pizza?
I don't know about that, but I will say as soon as you go past 3 toppings or you put some other sort of topping like barbecue sauce or whatever on it, it's a flatbread then and no longer a pizza.
Fair. I respect the hell out of that.
Right.
I got a question.
Yeah.
I don't know why we didn't talk about this, but whatever. That means you just have to talk later down the road. This is from Piotr Pongzak. I think I said that right. Is he going to use the Cayman in competition of some sort? What is he going to be doing with the Cayman? Is he going to build any more MR or unusual drift cars? Warm greetings to him.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about the Cayman at all.
You.
We didn't talk about the Cayman at
You
all.
didn't.
That's dumb. We're idiots.
That thing's cool though. But well,
Yeah,
tell us
so
about,
just quick. Just we don't want to eat all
tell
your
us
time.
real
Go
quick
ahead.
about it and.
What do you want to know? You want
I don't know. What do you
do?
Tell us about the car. Like, what
is it competition of some sort? What are you doing with
what
the
is it
Cayman?
also like? Why a Cayman? Like why like?
Why a Previa?
Yeah. Oh, Chelsea, get over here and fight Paco, please.
No, I mean
I would
because I
love
like the,
boys, bro.
I would love to see
like
that.
the Cayman.
I hope Chelsea tells you to stuff it in the trailer, Paco.
No, I'll be honored. I'll be honored to
pack it up,
pack my
Paco.
shit in the trailer after
Yeah.
Chelsea beat me up in the track. But dude, I mean, the Previa is basically like it's a Cayman minivan, basically mid-engine.
Mid-engine, it is.
You know, so
What are you doing with it? What's your plan?
But yeah, so my plan is to develop the car this year, and kind of figure some things out. I feel like usually people build a new car, they drop it, and like they're immediately either competing or shooting content with it or it just disappears. They drive it a couple times. My goal is to kind of be able to take people on the journey with me to kind of figure it out and each of the steps of the way of how I would develop it. I always wanted to build one because the chassis is like what I believe one of the best chassis for drifting, whether it was front engine, mid engine, rear engine, any of that. Just the style of suspension, how stiff it is. It's really cool looking out of the box. You don't really have to go do crazy body kits and wings and all that stuff. And overall, my main goal was to get more people involved in drifting. And I thought, like, what car companies, what types of people would be a positive influence with drifting. And I felt like Porsche people always talk about drifting. They all love drifting. They really enjoy it, but they have nothing to be able to show for it. You know, all the commercials, they slide the cars around, they do whatever, but there wasn't really, outside of Tyler McQuarrie, which obviously he beat me to it 10, 15 years ago, whatever.
Yep.
There wasn't really anyone that was doing it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. Like, I love the chassis. I like the brand. I think it's cool. It's got a big motorsports heritage, and a lot of people that are really interested in motorsports buy those cars because they want to be associated with that feeling. And I want to be able to bring those people into drifting. And I have yet to see a single Porsche dude say that, like, I don't know why you're doing this. It's stupid. Everyone's like, this is the coolest thing ever. Can we have a Porsche drift team? Like, how do we do this? Like, how do we get a bunch of Porsche guys together to go drifting? And I'm like, none of you guys have drift cars. You don't even get it.
Well, do you remember the last time you did that with BMW and they made you pull the badges off all the cars?
yes, ESA.
Yeah.
Damn it!
I remember that.
BMW.
So,
Dude, tried to do
Well,
something
I think
cool.
there's obviously like rules for that. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be great if Porsche was involved.
It'd be
in the program
cool,
and figured
dude.
it out.
Damn it,
You're
BMW.
probably seen that movie No Man's Land with Charlie Sheen, right?
Yeah.
That's basically the Porsche's drifting the whole movie, and this is like 1984. So good eye,
Yeah.
good eye.
I just got two more.
But yeah,
here.
maybe some competitions.
That'd be sick. Well, here
But
going
just fun stuff.
That leads to the next next question, right? Sam Jones asks, has he ever considered drifting in Driftmaster since retiring from FD or other pro type of competitions? As that was kind of the rumor. Like, we've heard rumors, you know, through the Facebook group and Discord. Like, we heard Chelsea's gonna do full series or half a round here or 3 rounds there. Have you considered this at all?
I would not consider driving a championship of any sort, but I would love to drive a round of Drift Masters, a round of maybe some other series. There's a Iron Drift King event in Germany that looks really cool. Maybe a D1 event or a FD Japan event or something like that. All those would be great. Unfortunately, all those come at a very high cost or maybe ending up in a car that isn't great. So it's tough to balance that, to find a car that is really good and capable of winning and an opportunity that allows me to drive it without spending a ton of money, you know? So it's tough for sure.
Yeah. Well, I have a very, very important question here from Jerry Arnold. Would you rather fight one Vaughn-sized duck or 100 duck-sized Vaughns?
I don't I don't know if I can handle 100 of Vons in any sort, any shape or form.
Even though they're tiny.
They're just coming at you swinging hats, dude. Just
Whoa, that's it, dude. The hat swinging.
You'd be dodging
Oh,
these,
man.
dude. That's on
There's
you.
not even enough hats. How do we
Dude,
even do this?
where are these ducks getting these hats at?
They all have full sponsorship RTR.
Oh yeah,
And they're all just monsters
slamming
getting
it.
pumped.
Stoked and pumped.
That's right. Yeah,
this is
I love it.
This is my last one. This is from Fred Steinhauer III.
Oh,
And he's not a Roman prince. If you could change,
He's gonna ask you to send him money though.
dude, he is. He's like, you ask my questions, we're going to charge you. He asked, what if you were to change any rules in the FD rulebook? What would you change?
Ooh, tough. That's tough. I would change the pro spec rule to have a maximum weight of 2,900, not minimum.
That's me clapping, by the
Yeah.
way.
Slow
Guys,
clap.
for all you guys just listening. That's actually. Just
I think
clapping.
that the cost of entry and the barrier of entry would actually go down a lot if they allowed really light cars. Just to give you an example, like someone like me, if they allowed my really light car to go drive in the series, I would probably go drive a couple of rounds and see, because to me, like, you get the cars down to 2,300 pounds, 2,400 pounds. Now you're getting 5, 6, 7, 8 laps out of a pair of tires. You don't need 650, 700 horsepower for pro spec. You could have 500 because your car's really light. I think you could run regular gearboxes. You could cut down the cost a lot, in my opinion, by doing that. But then there's the other side of it too, that people might spend a shitload of money and make a super light car and have all of those things. But
Yeah.
I think the entry barrier of having to weigh 2,900 pounds makes it so that you have to have 650 horsepower plus instead of some options of being lighter.
Oh, that's awesome. And by the way, I think AI Sam's trying to jump in right now. He has one question.
let me see his.
Hey, Chelsea. Quick question. At the beginning of the episode, you lied to us, you dirty son of a gun. Tell us the truth. You love the smell of cum-ho tires, don't you? Tell us. You love it. Just say it. You're lying. You're not allergic to cum-ho tires, the smell.
You kind of sound like Cartman.
He's a very good Cartman.
That was Sam. What do you mean? That's AI Sam, dude.
Virtual
the thing
Sam
is
based on Cartman.
The thing about AI Sam is we're still fine tuning his voice. You get a whole bunch of different things, but we could shut down AI Sam, right?
Yeah, I mean, like,
shut that down. We don't need him anymore.
Yeah, thank you, Virtual Sam. Like, we'll see if
We'll see.
next
Hopefully he's
episode's
better.
But anyways,
Chelsea. Paco, give Chelsea a round of applause for being so open and honest and being the real Chelsea. He's tried to fight people in the pits before. He's told people to pack it up on the trailer. He was 100% of a competitor from start to finish. It's either on or off. It's easy.
It's the same
People need to be
Chelsea
more
from
like
day
Chelsea
one,
DeNofa,
yes.
for shit's sakes. Be more like Chelsea.
Chelsea for president.
Oh, man. Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Hey,
buddy.
you're
Thanks for the little ego boost right
you're-
before I go to sleep.
Now you're the one who's blushing, huh?
Yep. Chelsea.
I am. I'm red now. I appreciate
Nah,
it.
dude. Thank you for everything you do for the sport and continue to do.
Thanks so
we will
much.
stay in touch and we'll see you when we see you, dude.
All right, dudes. I will see you.
Take
Later,
care, buddy.
brother. Get some. Oh,
Boom!
ew. Drop the mic.
that's a-
BBL Drizzy.
Yeah,
He did a gang sign before he logged off, guys. So I don't know what gang he's in, but he did this.
he did the.
Yeah, he did a gang sign. I don't know
Yeah.
what gang he was in, but maybe he's claiming something else or
I think it's like a clamshell.
Illuminati. Is that Illuminati?
That's probably what it is. I mean,
He's
dude,
a-
like after what he said about Drake, he probably has protection.
Yeah, he did some
From
weird gang
Illuminati.
sign, guys. I don't know what his affiliation is, but I'm gonna keep my distance for now. And by the way, he was probably one of the worst guests we've had.
Oh, dude, it's terrible.
He was so
Terrible,
bad. I was
always,
at the beginning of the
always.
episode. I'm like, do we actually have to talk to Chelsea for 2 hours?
He's the biggest drift nerd.
Dude, I left FD to be the best person I can be. I couldn't be the best. Dude, get a hold of yourself.
And he's also like so like I'm the best.
Yeah.
I don't need a drift anymore. I'm the best already.
Name somebody that could do a mic drop, win a championship, and just quit.
Yeah. Like I mean, at this point, I even feel like Virtual Sam was doing a good job.
Sam was on it, dude.
Yeah,
Virtual Sam. I feel like you're really close with actually Virtual Sam.
Somehow, right? It seems like there's some sort of similarity.
I hope we don't ever have him back on.
Who? Virtual Sam or Chelsea?
I want to hang out with Virtual Sam. I just want Chelsea back.
Yeah, I mean he'll figure out his way to sneak himself back in the show. You know how he is.
He is. He's just a snake.
Yeah.
Cheater. He's a cheater.
It's
the glue stuff. Oh, I just cheated the rule.
Glue gate.
He needs to get his stuff together.
He's got so many controversies behind him. He's got the glue gate. He's got the hood gate.
Got that.
He's got
fighting
pizza gate.
people. He probably has like a bunch of fights in the pits that maybe happen behind closed doors, and he's just trying to keep it clear. You just can't trust this guy. So whatever he says, guys, don't believe him.
Yeah, just take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, you can't trust these guys.
Yeah,
but
other than that, I mean,
that was the first podcast. I don't know what to think of it, Paco. We did something. Oh, that was bad.
That was so white, Corey.
We did something. Big balls. Are you okay over there?
Oh yeah, everything's running great.
Did we do an episode about Big Balls, or should we just delete it?
Yeah, everything's good. We're good.
Yeah. What's the temperature on the course?
57 degrees.
57 degrees. And what's the oil pressure?
91 psi.
Dude, it's a well lubricated machine. We're operating right here.
Did we get the new neural net learning computer? Or what did we get?
Yeah, it was like that $1 million ones that
Sam paid for it. I don't know. I didn't check the receipt. Sam just paid for it. But guys, thank you for tuning in and watching Maximum Driftcast for the first time in 4 years, and maybe the last time in 4 years. We don't know, but we'll probably see you again. We'll probably do 2 episodes a month. Join our Facebook group. Can we put a link in our YouTube chat?
I can. Well,
you're
gonna have to talk a little bit.
I'll talk a little bit. Guys, follow us on Instagram at Maximum Driftcast. Make sure you follow us on the Facebook group. If you guys want the nitty gritty behind the scenes, talk to the drivers, talk to the diehard fans. Join our Facebook group. For you guys listening right now, you can go to our YouTube video and fast forward to the end. If you get bored watching it, fast forward to the end, click the link, join the group. It's an awesome place, awesome community. That's where we live when we're not here. But other than that, guys, I think we're back. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Once again, thank you 2F Performance. Thank you Rogaine, and thank you Steve's Plumbing. Steve, dude, if we learn anything from this, Steve the plumber, if you have a pipe too tight or a pipe too loose, let Steve beat it. That's one thing that we've learned is Steve's Plumbing is one of the greatest. So we got to thank Steve and everybody else that's been a part of this. We actually I don't even know if we're gonna have any sponsors after this one, dude, but it doesn't matter, dude. We're for the people. And by the people, and we do drifting sometimes, and we have fun doing it. But
no, it's fun. It's like we're never gone. It's like we're never left. And I really hope the people who are listening, all how many people are watching? 4. All 4 people are
3.
watching.
I just dropped down to 3. My mom left.
Thank you, Mrs. Hosford. Yeah. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. I hope you enjoy it being live. The fact that we are doing this with no editing, we're just committing to it. We buckle up and flush it out.
Yeah, that's it. And it's fun to be back. So Paco, thank you for being here. Big Balls and Nikki, thank you guys for holding it down behind the scenes. We hope to do this more. If there's any guests or anything you'd like to add, please, once again, like I said, join the Facebook group, the Discord. Check out our Patreon. If you guys want to be a triple OG and want to help this show build bigger and build stronger, what is it? Wait, make Driftcast great again.
Make Driftcast great
2025, again. Join our Patreon. The donations go to the studio equipment and keep the show running. So thank you for all our Patreons.
So the donations go to pay Sam back.
Yeah, we have to pay Sam back because we're in like $250,000 in debt for our 6 cameras and our computer that we got. So, guys, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. And Paco,
let's follow Corey on Corey Hosford on Instagram.
If you guys care about what I do, it's Corey Hosford on Instagram, and
follow Maximum Driftcast at Maximum Driftcast
and Taco Ibarra
at Taco Ibarra with a K. Because I know a lot of people try to spell it properly with a C, and they find this is very nice taco place in California.
Nice.
Tacos Ibarra.
Oh, that sounds delicious, dude.
Delicioso. Sí, las gorditas. Muy rico. Corey, let's go to bed.
See you guys. Well, not in the same bed, but we'll go to bed.
To our own beds.
Bed. I got a bed down the street.
I'm just telling you, I have a bed right here in the studio. People can't really see it. Something's falling.
What is that, dude?
I don't know.
All right.
Let's go to bed.
We'll figure this out.
Good night, guys.